He started us straight off. Where are you? Let's be having you. Gotta love a bit of Delia. Is this what is what the chef? Is that who we're talking about, Delia?
Yeah, she's my former boss. Yeah, technically.
Oh, Norwich.
Yeah, she works.
Hey.
She runs the.
Oh, let's be having you. Oh, cool. Oh,
yeah,
God.
she ran.
Absolute mayor already
when I
on
worked
the
at
FOKLZ
Norwich,
podcast.
I was doing kiosk. She ran that, like, the institute that does all, like, the catering there. So I don't know if she still does.
I don't think that's what you call it.
She ran all that. So technically, yeah, she's like, I guess, goated down here. That's what they call her, I guess.
Is she? Did you ever meet her?
No, she's too. I don't think she owns the. When I was there, she did own the club, but I don't think she owns the club anymore. I think some Americans own it. I think they bought it off her. I think she has a little bit of it.
I mean, how are you anyway? Like, we've gone straight in here because I just saw that comment and I was like, to be fair, Millsy's hit the nail on the head. Like, late again, quarter of an hour late. Never mind. 1 week we'll get here on time.
Yeah, I'm all right. Well, I would say I could have joined maybe like 10 minutes before I did, but I was watching map 2 of the. It's today. Today is the start of the Call of Duty 2026 season, so it literally just started like an hour ago. So I am going to be watching it kind of in the stream, especially because Optic are playing. So it's an interesting team. So yeah, it's a good day. We're back. COD's back. There's links. Arsenal still haven't lost in like forever. We play Villa tomorrow. We do have 4,000 injuries, but I'm not even worried. I'm not even worried.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Do you know what? I don't think I've I don't think I've ever felt this calm about injuries with Arsenal. Again, that's a long-standing thing. Like the amount of people I think, oh my gosh, like if I think James Lawrence Alcott put out a tweet once saying, "Oh, give me a name of a player, like a what-if player," and I was like, "Oh, I'll write down Eduardo," and I went, "Nah, actually, I'll write down Rosicky," and I was, "No, I'll did Wilshire," and then I decided I'd finally settled on Diaby. Because he was the one for me that I was like, yeah, he's a real what-if player. I think he would have been like a Vieira, Yaya Toure kind of player. Genuinely think he would have been world-class, that guy. But yeah, I'm quite calm. Mate. It's nice. And 610, nice to see you, mate. But we are both injury-free. I mean, I'm probably slightly more injury-prone than you, mate. I was worried one of you might have gone down knowing our luck. I mean, yeah, Fairs. Before, I'm not joking. Before I came on here, I went to get out of my chair. Said, like, I've got an armchair here because I'm an old man. Went to get out of my armchair, and I genuinely said, "Oh, my back! Oh no, here we go again." And I thought, can I make it from the living room to the office? Made it, don't worry. And I'm in denial. Wait until we lose a bit.
Don't even.
Don't jinx it, Tom. Don't jinx it, mate.
If we lose a midfielder, my head will be gone.
Oh. Should we start there? Let's start there, because there has been a rumour of a midfielder, although it's going both ways. I don't know if have you seen the latest development, mate?
Oh, yeah. Like, bro, people on Twitter, man, are so funny. So funny, man. Like, how many times has everyone spoken about how signing a new contract just doesn't mean anything? It just doesn't. Like, I think I talk to people all the time about this when a player goes in for another team and they're like, oh, the player should upheld his contract. It's like football contracts don't work like job contracts do, because they're an asset at the end of the day. The player is an asset to the club. They hold value. They might lose value over time, but they still hold value to a certain extent. And the longer they have a contract, the more value they have. So it's one of them things where, like, he just turned 18. They're gonna announce it. Cool, whatever. Bouaddi's got a new contract. All that's gonna. I don't think that makes any difference to the transfers. If he's gonna go in Jan, he'll go in Jan. If he's gonna go in the summer to PSG, he'll go in the summer to PSG. I don't think this is gonna make any difference to that. And like, I mean, Semenyo is such an easy example, but we spoke about, like, he signed a new deal in the summer, and that did make it like, oh, he didn't get a move in the summer. He's literally leaving. This was in January. Oh wow, he signed a 3-year contract. He's going 6 months because he had an agreement to. So it's like, whatever, man. So
No, I mean, I don't blame the clubs either. Do you know what I mean? That's exactly what I would do.
gets them
I
more
just
money.
find it hilarious that like this is the tweet, isn't it? Like you went live straight away. Like, also, a round of applause for you going live, mate. It was like, oh, he's on. They're breaking that news. Good job, bud. Like Fabrice Hawkins put this out about us, you know, trying to. Let's go in the translation. That might help everyone. So Arsenal are pushing hard. I think that was the main thing, wasn't it? And the fact that it's going to be about 50 million euros. And then I think Hand of Ozil suddenly started getting a bit on Ben Mattison's tweets and started doing the rounds. And then lo and behold, if I go back to my page, suddenly Bouaddi, new contract. I wonder why they've done that. That seems a little bit all too coincidental, doesn't it? That tweet's gone out and then suddenly 18-year-old signs his contract. Like he's gone. Like, I hate to say that, but he is gone.
Yeah, so. I mean, every French club is broke. You give them 50 mil, they're taking that. They don't have the option to say no. Like fundamentally, this is funny because I actually did a tweet saying, well, yesterday we actually had the first involvement of Bouaddi because Hand of Arsenal he replied to a Ben Mattison tweet of when he spoke about Bouaddi to him like months ago. He replied to it with the breaking heart emoji last night. This was like 2 a.m., 1 a.m. It was very late. So or something like that. It might be like 11 or 12. I was in bed. I saw it on my phone before I was going to bed, and I literally tweeted out saying, what did I tweet? I tweeted Bouaddi to PSG is a big L for everyone. I had one PSG fan reply to me saying cry. Thought that was quite funny. And I saw that's when I kind of thought, oh, he'll go to PSG, then that makes sense or whatever. And then the reports came out by the I don't want to, it's like Contra or something. I looked at it earlier, and he basically said that PSG are gonna get him. Like I don't know. He basically said PSG are looking to get him. But then in this Fabrice Hawkins post, and there was another post by someone else. I can't remember who, but there's someone else that spoke about it as well. In it actually says that PSG like the player, but they have to sell someone in their midfield in order to get him in, and they are not really worried about it. They're not really going to. They're not going to try and sign him in January. It's going to be a thing where if they do, they're going to be like, can you sign and wait for the summer and then we'll get you in, which could happen. It's like what we've talked about with Semenyo. Apparently he is a PSG fan. I mean, he's French. Like the chances are quite likely, I would imagine. But like, it's one of them situations where like, I don't know, we've already been in contact with them. Bert has already been there, which has been the reports. So surely if we just say like, I don't know, there is ways that we can get about getting him. We might not get him at the end of the day, but I'm sure if we put enough money down and we say to Lille, we'll give you 50 mil in Jan, they'll probably be like, yeah, we'll take that. Like you need to, like Lille are not really playing for a lot like this season. Like they can get Europe and stuff, but then that's not going to be dependent on Bouaddi. He doesn't start every game. He hasn't started some of their few games. He's not starting right now as they play, but he is suspended. They're playing Ethan and Mbappe actually, and he actually scored, which is quite funny. So it's like one of them things where, like, I don't know, if they can get 50 mil now, or they're going to get like 35 to 40 mil in the summer. Also, they would probably want him to go to, I don't know, they might want him to go to PSG, but I would assume that they might like him to go to another country where he doesn't have to play actively against them in the whole Desir Douar, Bradley Barcola mold that everyone, that PSG are now turned into Bayern Munich and they're just buying everyone.
Yeah.
So it's one of them things where, I mean, at least we're into these talks. I said to you like last week and the week before that I think we'll sign a midfielder, and now I think we're going to sign a midfielder even more, and even maybe a defender. I think we really will be doing business in January.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 10 years, I think they've made about 400 million euros of profit. Like, so, like obviously, a lot of that came from us as well, which is
over 100
so ironic.
of it is us. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. You think like the Pepe deal, like it does massive money. Great deal for them. Not so much for us. But I do wonder, like, for me, if I'm looking at the squad and squad building, it makes sense. And we've said it multiple times on here. You could get Bouaddi in and then Norgard moves on. Cool, fine, not a problem. But I do wonder if the club and Berta look at it and go, if we can sign a contract and then he stays there for another year, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that could be interesting for them. Like we've had, well, Saliba didn't he? Like he didn't stay there. We loaned him back, and then he was loaned to Marseille, wasn't he? And stayed there. But we've got this kind of running thing where we've got loans built into contracts and deals. So I'm trying to think of the other ones like David Raya, Hincapié, that we're very good at working out a deal that works out well for the selling club and a deal that works out really well for us. So I wonder if there's something in that where we can go, you know what, PSG aren't going to do that. For PSG, I just can't see them doing that. Whereas us, it could be a case of, oh, well, you can keep him for a year and then we'll take him off your hands. But you have the money up front, you have the money now. And the money's great. For him, I think so much upside.
I mean, I would say you're not paying 50 mil to loan a guy back like to them. Like this guy isn't some sort of, like I keep saying this to people as well. Like this guy isn't a youngster that is just some random kid. This is like the best youngster in the world, the best one.
Saliba was as well. Like in terms of like best young, like he won Young Player of the Year, didn't he?
Yeah, but he won Young Player of the Year when he was on loan from us. Like he didn't. I don't think he won it when we signed him.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
I think he'd only had played like 15 games or something for them, and then we spent 30 mil on him, which is a big investment. But these are like way different. Like Bouaddi's been playing football for like a year and a half now. He's like been playing for time. Like it's just because no one could buy him until he was 18, which is the same situation that kind of had Saliba, because Saliba did play a bit for Sanetti. But, I mean, it's very just different players. Like, centre-backs do not cost the same amount of money as midfielders. And, like, I mean, we've seen midfielders in this mold before. Like, are not the same sort of players, but even like a Tuchemeni and a Cavaminga, at 18, 19, they got instantly hooked away from France. Like, and they were just that good. I think it's one of them situations. I think he is gettable in Jan. I think you have to probably pay more of a premium than you would have wanted. I think it is going to have to cost around £50 million. I would assume. I think that would be enough to get him, and I think they'd probably be like, yeah, sure, whatever. That's fine. That's enough money. I think as well, it's funny we talk about like the loans and the buys. That's such a Italian Serie A thing, and now we've got Berta and Michele like in now. I'm sure that we'll probably do more of them because that league is mental. You know, the Juventus will sell a player to like Lecce, and Lecce will loan him and then have a buy option. And then also, you're like, okay, it'll be the other way round. Lecce have a midfielder who are like a lower league side, and then they'll sell someone to Juve and it'll be a loan with an option to buy or whatever, obligation. Like, they all do it. It's so weird, I find. Like, imagine Arsenal going up to Sunderland and being like, oh, yeah, can we have Sadiki, but we'll take him on loan, but we'll put a 20 mil buy. It's just, I know we did it with
so
Raya,
weird.
But it's just like, I don't know, Raya's a goalie. It was a bit of a different situation. There's not that many goalies around. Like, I know, it just seems weird that you would do that with teams that are a lot lower than you. But, I mean, it's exciting, though, at least we're in these conversations. I think with him and the Mendoza links and all the links that we've kind of had with midfielders, I think we're going to sign a midfielder. I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, he's a big upgrade on Agame. Oh, we should get on. But I don't even consider Agame even in
just
this
different profiles.
Yeah, like in my opinion, if we're looking at Mendoza and we're looking at Bouaddi, that's 8. We're looking at more of an 8. I don't think, and maybe we could arguably get a 6 as well. But I think more importantly, even Arsenal are trying to play a sort of 3-8 system, which I think is a part of it. But I also think that maybe they see Miles as a better 6 than an 8. Maybe that's a point that is there. And these are just different. This is more of a Declan Rice backup than like a Zubimendi backup. Like he can back up for Zubimendi. I know people have said that, but I wouldn't be doing that. I would not be playing this guy as a DM, really, to be honest.
No, he's not going to dictate play in the same way. He's more of a carrier, like quite like long-legged, isn't he? He's like little daddy long legs going around.
Like he is really good. Like his defensive ability is like really good. Like, but he's like more smarter than necessarily like a big cruncher. And sometimes you need to have that big cruncher
100%.
never. But his recovery time is really good. I just feel like he's better in a double pivot, especially he's like 18. Like when he's like 24, maybe yeah, he could play as a single pivot as a 6, but we're way far off that per period. So it's like just make it easy for him, make him an 8. He can play in a low block if we need to with other players. But like if we don't get Bouaddi, there's not like Mendoza is not a player that's going to play as much. Like I think if we were to get Mendoza and Jan, I think that's a player that is not going to get many minutes. Like he'll probably get like 500,
Hmm.
600. But Bouaddi will get like he'll probably get like 800 minutes, 900 minutes from Jan, and then next season he'll play loads. Like
Yeah.
I think as soon if he comes in January, like that is a big signing where he is going to have to play like a decent amount. So it's just
Do
so
you
interesting.
think, like, I mean, taking out the whole idea of PSG being his favorite club, etc., or people would argue, oh, the French connection to Arsenal, etc. Not so much, maybe in the last kind of decade, anyway. But just looking at like objectively, which do you think is like the best move for him? Because both midfields are pretty much set, so he's going to have to, bide his time. Which one do you reckon would give him the most minutes and long term would be like the best kind of option for him? Like bearing in mind the person and how good these two midfields are. So like for you, if you like advising him, which one do you go with?
If I was
You're not
advising
expecting
him,
that, were you?
if I was advising him, I mean, I would listen to me if I was him. But the thing is, it's really tough because PSG and Arsenal, we've spoke about it, but Arsenal are playing this sort of like B-Tech version of the PSG midfield, or at least they're trying to.
Don't call it a B-Tech version.
What,
That's so hard.
what do you mean?
It sounds like we're like the championship version, like
No,
they're up here
like,
and we're just like,
no,
yeah,
but it's like it's not like the same system concretely, but it's like
yeah, I know
like
what you mean,
a
yeah.
lighter version of it is what I read. Something wrong with doing a B-Tech. I actually did a B-Tech, by the way, so just have to say but
no
like
comment.
I think I don't know, man. Like it's really hard because I think in terms of age is what I'm looking at a lot here. I think with Arsenal, he would specifically just play on the left side more thing because I just think in England things are a lot more set. I do think in PSG, like you're gonna see Neves on the left, Vitinha, DM, Fabian Ruiz on the right. But when they play, it's not really like that. They are much more willing to like go on each other's wings. Like sometimes you see Arsenal overload the side, and then you'll get Rice come down like the right side, for instance. Sometimes, but it doesn't happen often. It's only when it's a tactical implication, like against Tottenham, we did it to overload on one side and to get that space.
Yeah.
And even then, it weren't really Rice's role; it's more the other players. So, like when I think about like the problem is the age demographic of PSG's midfield is just like 6 years younger than Arsenal. They're about his age. I think in terms of him fitting into a club, French PSG midfield of players around his age, a lot of them like Zaire Emery, Malulu, like there's players that I could definitely see him linking with. I think he'd fit in better, but I think in terms of his long time career, like it is really tough because Neves is like how old is Neves is 21, so that's not that big of an age difference there. Vitinha's 25, that's your oldest one, and even then he'd be Arsenal's youngest midfielder out of Rice, Suba, and Odegaard, who are all older than that. Malulu's 19. You've got like they play like Fabian Ruiz is like 29, so maybe, but he plays on the other side, so it's like is he gonna fit in? They've got an 18-year-old they've been playing recently. I'm not going to try and say his name, but I know who he is. And, they've got, like, other players that they can play there. Like, Doué has played in midfield a little bit when Barcoda's played, and he's only 20 years old as well. So, and then I look at Arsenal, I'm like, yes, you've got Miles, yes, you've got, a Dalman or a Winery, which people talk about. But Winery and Dalman aren't starters. So if you're and also they're like left footers on the right side, and Bouaddi's not. He's in the right foot on the left side. So I actually think that makes a lot of difference in England. I think people really distinguish, at least maybe not England in general, but Arteta definitely distinguishes right footers and left footers
100%.
on sides. Like he can't play two centre backs who are like right footed unless it's Mascara who's like.
I was just about to say there. Yeah, having a
Unless
left foot, left centre back,
because he's two-footed, it kind of works. But yeah, he just has to have a left-footed left centre back and a right foot right. He can't not. And I think I don't know, man. It's actually very close because also PSG and Arsenal at levels are very similar. I personally think that PSG team was really good last year, peaked at a certain aspect, and I think that their tactics, unless they change a lot and consistently keep changing, I think they have been caught up in many ways already, and which is crazy because they play awful teams on the weekend and they can just put anyone out. But I think a lot of their team, like even this season when I've watched them, it hasn't worked as the ways it would want it to be. And maybe that's down to injuries. Like Doué's been injured a lot, but Coda's not been
Hmm.
in the team. They've had to play Lee a lot. I think Lee's excellent. I think Lee is actually a really good player. Um, so it's one of them things where I look at it and go like, biasly, I think we're a better team than PSG. I definitely think in the future we're going to be a better team, a more competitive team than PSG. He can go to PSG and win 700 Ligue 1s if he wants to. He might want to. He is French. Like that might be his dream, and if it is, fair enough. But I don't know. Like I don't know if PSG are going to be competing in the Champions League this high, and that's a hot take, but I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if they've got the juice like that anymore. I don't know. I don't know. If I was him,
It's hard, isn't it?
if I was him though, knowing like the factors of PSG fan, I can understand he'd go to PSG. But if it is this thing where PSG want to get him in the summer, we want to get him in Jan. If we are going to win this league this year, and we say to him, "You can have a Prem title." I don't know. I'd take a Prem title. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
know.
and I think there's a real clear pathway for him at our club. I think it's like very clear. Like you are second to Declan Rice, who they'd argue is like one of the the top players in his position. I know there's a lot of people that said that he is the best midfielder in the world, but I think the club would just go, who else are you going to learn from? And he's not like the same profile as Rice, but there are elements of his like carrying and his ability in recovery. Like they're quite similar in that mold. Yeah, I wonder what the height difference is actually between the two of them because they're both quite tall. Um, and I just think it just makes sense. Like you said, like a right foot who plays on the left hand side. All the talk before is like, how do we build a midfield with Winery and Dowman and Miles and where do we go with that? I think if you get Bouaddi, that makes it very clear of the rest of those players. I think it really does. But yeah, it'd be interesting. There is a comment here. So 610's put Camavinga wants out of Madrid. Camavinga wants out of Madrid. Bill, that needs talking about. I thought this went a little bit more cold recently, but he'd be fantastic. Like he would. He'd be unbelievable. But again, didn't like his petulance against us. Like he got a card right. Do you remember right at the end of the second leg? And I was like, what are you doing? I just don't understand it. He's got, to be fair, he's a young player. He's at Madrid. He's surrounded by a lot of big egos. Like I feel that's almost like a given at Madrid. You look at like Vinny, look at Bellingham. They've all got that kind of arrogance or attitude. I mean, you could argue self-belief, but sometimes I was like that just overstepping the mark. I do wonder if there's a little bit of that, although there's probably just because I focused on it because we played against them ourselves. But I think just pure talent-wise, he'd be fantastic. Like he's got so much to his game. He'd be brilliant. But the problem is, again, how much is he going to cost? And also, how much are the wages going to be? Because I doubt he's going to want to come to us for, small wages, although I don't think he's on a lot at Madrid, last time I checked. I don't know. For me, I think, I was going to say Tchouameni might be the better option out of the Madrid players. But I just think the Bouaddi, for me, makes more sense than Camavinga.
I mean, I just think the problem is that I was speaking to people earlier because I had these people in my chat who kept going, "We need a left winger. We need a left winger." I was like, "We'll get a left winger in the summer. Like it's not that deep. I'm not paying 100 mil for a left winger in Jan when we can win the league with Trossard, Eze, and Martinelli. Like it's literally not on them if we don't win the league. Like in my opinion." And
Mhm.
it's kind of the thing with Camavinga. It's like Camavinga's an incredible. I wouldn't believe anything that comes out of Real Madrid press or anything to do with that club because, like you said, like it's gone cold. But like everything that is in this club, they say things and then they go back on it. Like now they're talking about the fans want Xavi Alonso gone, but then they won really well on the weekend, and now that it's like whatever, man. Like it just they're a roller coaster of a club. The media that they have
Mhm.
is crazy. I never know what the players feel like. I'm sure Camavinga is somewhat frustrated. He doesn't play all the time, but he still played a hell of a lot for them over the last 6 years. Like he has played 40 to
Yeah.
50 games a season. I like Camavinga because he is really versatile. I mean, I don't know if he should be being. I don't know if he should be played as a fullback. And like, yeah, he's okay there for Real Madrid. Like, is that versatility? If you're like okay in another position, I don't know. Like, I still wouldn't play him at left back.
Yep.
Or anywhere like that. But I just think the problem is Arsenal are at the level now where people need to realize that we are one of the best teams in Europe. We cannot be going to these other elite teams, taking players that may be out of favour, because where are they going to fit? Cavaminga's 23 years old. He needs to be playing. Like, I know that people can talk about rotation and stuff, but Cavaminga, yeah, you can't rotate Cavaminga with a Zubimendi for 70 mil. You don't pay 70 mil for a rotation option. That's just not
Yeah.
how it
Yeah.
works. Like, I get that, like, the Hincapié was like 45 mil and stuff, but we knew that that was a different tactical setup that would have got played because of the injuries. A complete, having like like, it's like the same opinion I have about Rice. Rice is unbelievable. He's our best player this season so far. He's been one of the best players in Europe. You don't buy a 70 mil backup from him. It's like Barcelona spending 90 mil on Rice to sit behind Pedri. Like, what's the point? It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's just a awful use of funds. So that's why the way you get about that is you bring in young players that don't need to necessarily play all the time. They can come in and out of the squad, but they are good enough to bring that level. That's why we've got the Hincapiés and the Calafiores, because they're actually not that old. They're like 23, 22. So
Mhm.
it's not like a big that deep if they're not playing every week. It's the same with Miles. That's why we like Miles and Winery as backups, because as much as I want Winery to play more, it's not that deep. He is 18 years of age, or
Yeah.
19 now. But like that's the thing with some of these players. That's why Bouaddi makes just more sense in terms of like his age, because it's that age that you can work your way towards. And a lot of people talk about ages in terms of like, stopping pathways for youngsters. I've always been someone that not really cared too much about that, because whatever. I just think like you get the players in, and if they're like, if you have good youngsters at your team, cool. But if there's a better youngster available for a good price, I'm getting the better youngster respectfully. Like, I don't know, that's just how I think. But I do think there's a certain level of like, you have to make the ages make sense. We bought Eze.
Yeah.
Eze's 27, and that's why if we buy another attacker midfielder, they have to be younger than like 23 or 22 or 21, because they cannot be in contention for the same age group. That's why people, I think, are getting confused about this whole Semenyo thing and go, well, why Arsenal are not going for Semenyo? I think it's abundantly clear that Arsenal are trying to get more of a project younger left winger. Because I think what the aim is that we'll probably get rid of someone like Gabriel Martinelli or Trossard or both. Something will happen in the summer. I don't think they'll both be here by
Well,
next
especially
year.
with the current contract situation for both of them, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I mean,
someone's got to go.
Trossard might stay to the end of it because he's only got like a year after it. But like
Mhm.
Martinelli, like if we sell Martinelli, Martinelli's 24 years old. They don't want to buy a 27-year-old, 26-year-old Semenyo. They don't like. I think the club think that's not good long-term planning when you've already got a 27-year-old Gyökeres, a 7-year-old Havertz, 27-year-old Odegaard, 28-year-old like Rice, 28-year-old White, like all these players that Eze 27, like we are getting to the point now where our team is actually in their prime and it's not young
Yeah.
again. So we need to bring that age down again with certain good players. And that's why I think Arsenal are willing to pay a premium for players like Nico Williams before. It did make sense how he fit in our team. But even now, I think you've seen Boyaya from Frankfurt, you've seen Yildiz, you've seen they've been the real big two links of our left wingers recently. I know there's some talk about Jan Diomande that everyone's been talking about. He's only
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
joined the Bundesliga from Leganes last year, but that's obviously a big thing. But yeah, it's like it's clear that the club, I think, want Yildiz. I think Yildiz is the one they've been signalling for, and
Mhm.
people might not like the profile. He is a little bit more of like a. Some people have called him an attacking midfielder because he comes inside a lot. I wouldn't still. He does receive it out wide a bit and then come in, but I get it. I get he's a bit more of a central player. But like when I look at someone like Yildiz, he's 20 years old, so he's super, super young. He can still be molded into a way where he could be a project, but he's got that quality now. And it's like if
Yeah.
Yildiz comes in, even if you pay 80, 90 mil, he doesn't have to play because he's that young. When you're like 23, like Cavaminga, like if you pay 60 mil for him, he's just got to play like a lot. And he probably would play a lot, but I just don't think that would be worth I just doesn't. It's not. I don't think it's good finances unless the deal can be cut. And the wages is a good point. Like I'm sure he's on a lot. Everyone at Real Madrid is. Um, and the thing is, like what I will say, last bit about Real Madrid is like no one ever knows what's going on in that club. It's literally like a black hole. Like people are talking about Vinny not signing a new deal because he actually came out and said he like they stalled. But like that could still happen and so could any of these other players leaving and joining. So we thought Rodrigo was going to leave, and he's still there, so not playing. So yeah, it's just how
I
Real
mean,
Madrid is.
to me as well, I feel that's like just madness. Like it's crazy. Like on everyone's behalf. Because bless you, mate.
Cheers.
I think for Rodrigo, like your stock's going down, but you're not playing at the moment. It's a World Cup year. Like,
Yeah,
good work, mate. And then for Real Madrid, the price is going down. You're not really using him. Like you're still paying astronomical wages. Like I just think it's crazy. Absolutely
yeah.
mental.
And unless people are desperate
And more and
in the
more,
summer.
I'm happy that we didn't go for it. Like more, I
Yeah.
look at our current position, I look at the makeup of our squad, and I think, like, it's funny because in the summer, he's not the player that was ever top of my list, but I think it's just that thing of like, I just need someone. But that left hand side wasn't working. And it was just like, oh, just get someone in. Okay, he plays for Real Madrid. Like he can play on the right, he can play on the left. Like he's quite young, he's not like super young, but he's done well in big games as well. Get him in, let's do something. And now I look at it and I think, oh, actually, our recruitment team are pretty damn good. Like they've made so many just good choices, very sensible choices with things. And the left-hand side is working much better this season. And I think Arteta is now working out like kind of pods that work together, whether it's like a Calafiori and Trossard or a Miles and Martinelli kind of thing, and when to employ them, when to use them. Now I look and go, God, I'm so glad we didn't spend. What was the price? Was it like
70, 80?
80, 90? Like,
Yeah.
and then like
And
crazy wages as well.
That's the thing. Like, if I genuinely think if people have watched every Arsenal game this season and they think the left wing is the problem, I just don't get it. Like, I think it's just completely biased of the fact that people look at the name Trossard or Martinelli on the team sheet and they go, well, they're not as good as what other teams have. But who cares? It's not how you analyze football. It's not how you watch football build a team. Like, every team has players that are like maybe not the most flashiest and great. Like, I'm sure 99% of people last year outside of Arsenal fandom couldn't care about Jorginho, but every Arsenal fan knows he was a very integral part of the team. He's a big part of the team, and he was great. So we didn't worry about Jorginho. Like obviously we don't play him all the time, but that's where you've got different players to come in. And like Trossard's been fantastic this season. Martinelli's been relatively good. I don't think Martinelli played bad against Brentford. I think he was actually okay. And like Eze's not even been really tried there, like 3-4 games. So, like, we've still got so much potential on the left wing. Calafiori's been excellent. Like, that's not our problem. In my opinion, when I look at our squad, we've had so many injuries to the forward line. Now we're having so many injuries to the back line. My big worry is if anything happens to Rice or Zubamendi, like, where will we be? And that to me is the biggest problem of our squad right now. And I just don't really understand when people think there's other problems. I get that, like, maybe now in the context that we know, buying another centre back in January might be nice because we've got so many injuries. Cool, I get that, it's fine. But by the time January comes around, it is good to remember that probably everyone will be back. So it's like, what do you do, sort of thing. But midfield is the biggest issue. Rice has played way too much. He's not injured, but he's come off 3 times now for these like knocks because he's just knackered because he's played running everywhere like
which
he
we
always
saw with
does.
Havertz.
Yeah,
we saw it. Do you remember him lying down the floor and us going, that doesn't look good.
And
it's not the most promising thing.
Same with what we're seeing with Marino the last couple of the last games and stuff. And I know like now it's not really a concern because we can drop Marino if we need to. But like my biggest worry is that if anything happens to Rice or Zubamendi, especially Rice, like
Yeah.
how important he is to our team right now. So, you know, it's not even, we're not going to be able to replicate the quality of someone like Declan Rice. We're just not. So I said this on my stream earlier. I was like, the one thing that Rice is so good at everything, but the one thing that he's the best at in this team is covering ground. So that is, to
Yeah.
me, the first thing you look for. You look for a central midfielder that can cover ground, because then at least gives you that leeway. Mendoza is very young. He's not very, like, refined, but he covers a lot of ground. You know,
Yeah.
Bouaddi covers a lot of ground, so I'm like, I can see where the clubs go. That's where I would go as well, and I think the club's doing well in that regard.
That's a really good point, mate. Because I didn't even think about that. I was thinking about more on the ball. But that's so true, just in terms of like physical capacity. Do you think, like, because he's quite, although he's like tall, he's quite wiry. Like, do you have any like worries about him kind of basically in contact and like holding the ball up and being able to turn players? Because from what I've seen, like, I've watched a lot of like clips, like Y Scout, that type of thing, but not in like full games. I know you've watched a lot more of him than I have, but do you have any kind of concerns about that? Because the other players we originally talked about was like an Agume, or who's more of a 6, but he's someone that I have less kind of physical worries about. I think he's more kind of that Premier League ready player in terms of just like physicality. Or do you think that just in terms of he's just, I don't know what the word is, his technique is so good and his ability to like shift the ball, he like shifts the ball side to side, doesn't he? Like use both feet. He just kind of jinks his way out. Do you think that's good enough to be able to like get away from contact and ride that out rather than just getting essentially crunched by like Villa's prime example, or a Bruno or someone like that? Like, would he be like kind of ready, or is that something like 6 months, get him to bulk up a little bit? I don't think he needs to be, hench. Yeah. Is that a
Yeah,
concern, or?
I think it's like, I think there's certainly a level of improvement that he will have to be consistent in the Premier League. Like, he is only
Mhm.
18. He is a lanky guy. He isn't particularly like strong, like when he looks, but he isn't when he gets going, especially on the ball. He is very strong. Like, he can hold his own. And like I said this earlier, actually, I think he'll be fine a lot of the time. Like, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue, because Liga 1, I would say, is the second most physical league in Europe,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know about the world. I can't speak for the world, but I definitely think in Europe it is. And you see a lot of the time, especially defenders and midfielders, they come from Liga 1 and instantly the physicality is not something they struggle about. Like,
It
there's
translates quite well.
so many players as a good example. There's like literally loads, like especially centre backs. That's why you get centre backs in. Like, Gabriel is example, but Kujanov is another one at Man City. Like, his
Yeah.
physical isn't just not the problem, like, at all. And I think, like, when I look at, like, the thing is with Bouaddi, like, he's so good in tight areas with multiple players around him who are very physical and trying to get at him, because he's so agile, and it's kind of hard to like knock him off his feet, sort of thing. But like,
Yep.
the thing is, in the Prem, you know, nowadays it is more physical over brains, especially for teams lower than the top 10. And they will just kick you, even if it's a free kick in a good position. They will just run into you nowadays, like, and give away a stupid free kick, and you're like, "Do you know what set pieces are?" But yeah, like so there is a certain level where he will have to improve it. Like, he is young, he is going to have to get that physical level in the Prem. But I think in terms of like his carrying won't be affected too much, because he's so good in
Hmm.
these dribbles. And off the ball as well. Like, this is the thing with Bouaddi. This is why I want him so much. Is he is off the ball. He is insane. Like, and we know Arsenal are the best off the ball team in Europe. I've seen a lot of people talk about it. So John McKenzie talk about this from the Athletic, where he was like, if I was talking about how good Arsenal were, I would just go on about how good they are off the ball. And I was like, it's so true, because the
Yeah.
reason why we can control games obviously helps, but we are so good off the ball. We win the ball back so quickly. We force teams into situations they don't want to be in. Like, even teams like Brentford and other teams that try to go against us and press us. And he is so good at covering such a large area, Birdie, because he just runs around. He's so smart. he kind of has like the Zubamendi brain in terms of defending, in terms of he's not a guy that just sprints all the time off the ball, but he is a guy that
Mm.
will be in the right position just randomly. And you're like, oh, how's he got there? And you see it. But he, in terms of in terms of coverage of the pitch, he's like a Rice type of coverage. That's why I love the sort of profile here. And I mean, off the ball, his recoveries, like every time I've watched him, every time I spoke to people who have watched him as well, a lot who watch Liga, everything they go on about is obviously the carrying's like the big like thing that is like his big thing, but the recoveries that this guy does is insane. There is multiple, like there is like 20, 30 clips of like teams going one-on-one against him, but he just runs back and tackles, and it's like incredible like recovery time. And I think with how Arsenal play, it just fits so well. We take
Yeah.
risks. We have a high defensive line. He can sit back if he needs to. He can also create. He's not the best creator, but he could definitely be turned into one. Like his passing has the potential to be much better than like I think what the stats show. I think his short passing is really good. I think his long passing maybe could be a bit better, but he's not really that sort of player. He's a carrier. I think that his physicality will have to improve a bit, but I don't think for an 18-year-old coming into this league, I don't think it'll be that much of a worry. Like I think it'll be fine, and that's a big testament to how good he is. I think.
Yeah. And it's so funny we're having this discussion about basically the best midfielder at his age in world football. Like it's like, but all I meant was like, you know, coming in right now. But I mean, this kind of goes with 6'10". So 6'10", but thoughts on going the other way round and getting someone experienced like a Ruben Neves, a Xhaka, Jorginho type that the manager trusts just to take minutes here and there. Like I look at it and think to myself, what the whole point of Norgard to me was it's like a short-termism, like until we can get a player like Bouaddi, and we haven't been able to sign him. So it does seem like this is all joined up thinking. And I also think, was it Arsene Wenger who said you should let younger players make mistakes rather than playing older players or something along
I
the
said that.
lines of that.
You watched my stream earlier. I literally said that on my stream. That's so weird. That's so weird. Yeah, I think the quote is like, I would rather play an 18. I think it was in reference to centre backs at the time, but he said, I'd rather play an 18-year-old because if they make mistakes, they're going to learn and the team will learn.
Was it when we bought Holding?
It might have been actually, yeah. And he was like, instead of playing a 32-year-old, because if they make a mistake, no one learns, is what he said. And genuinely, that's like one of my philosophies in like how I look at football. And I don't know if it's from that quote, but I always remember that quote. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. I'd rather just play the kids. I'd rather just give the kids a time. Like, I think.
I also think we've got quite a lot of experience in the club now. Like I think Norgard in terms of just a player that can come in and help with Zubamendi, because bearing in mind we lost Jorginho and that other guy this summer. When that happened, like, we needed to make sure that at least one player was more or less a guarantee. And although Norgard's like not a super high level player, like he is a Premier League captain, very experienced, understands the league itself, and just will do a job for 12 months. And I think that was the idea of get him in. We also gain the experience of him, like in terms of like a leader, I guess. And then over that time, hopefully Zubamendi's acclimatized to the league, and then we can go again and get someone else in midfield that will take his place, or you know, just make up the numbers in midfield, because it looks like maybe Miles will be a 6 at some point, like the 6 backup, and then you have Bouaddi as a 8 backup. But yeah, I just don't think, unless they're like an outrageous talent, like you know, who is 30, 31. But even then, I would be like, you know, it's not really what I want. Like, to be honest, I just prefer going the other way. But
I mean, that's what Norgard is. Like, I know people like talk about Norgard like he's gone, but he is here. Like, I think even if a Bouaddi comes in Jan, like he can rotate with Norgard and stuff. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I'm still worried.
Do you
that we're
think
gonna
the manager's
get
got trust in Norgard now?
Oh no,
It's
no,
like
no, not
pre-season, he played a lot and he played damn well. Like I was
not
really
not
impressed with him.
not at all.
And
No, I don't think he even knows he exists, to be honest. Like I was saying this the other day, like I was like, I completely get it because the drop off from Zubimendi to Norgard, because of the role that Zubimendi plays, it kind of is like a
mm,
specific role to Zubimendi where we've kind of turned like with what we've got with Zubimendi is literally what Chelsea have with all their players, where Caicedo plays one role. This role's great for Caicedo. If Caicedo's not in the team, no one else can play anywhere near that
yeah.
role. So it just doesn't make any sense. And it happens all the time with a lot of their
Or if
players.
he's sent off.
Yeah, if it's just not there. And like, I think the problem is, Norgard, like I said this when we signed Norgard, Norgard isn't a six. I think the sort of idea that he's a six is a bit like mental because he wasn't really a six at Brentford like
Yeah.
that because they played such a low block to high block system, high press system, that he was actually kind of an eight in motion. And I think with how Arsenal's midfield works, I don't really think they look at Zubimendi as like a six. I think I would say he is more of a six than anyone else by far. But
He's a
even now,
6'8".
yeah, he's like a 6'8". Like I
Like
don't think,
Odegaard's an 8'10", really. Like it's
yeah, and like I don't think sixes run into the box from like attacking plays. Like I don't know, I don't know many sixes in the world are gonna do that. I think that is more just like an eight natural eight thing. Like I don't think
mm,
Caicedo's running into the box. Like he'll be on the edge sometimes, but he's not running in. Like so, I think that like our midfield is actually 3-8, and I think that works because Odegaard's not a 10. So if we want to play 3-8, I think
mhm.
it works better for Odegaard. And I think in that idea, it works for Norgard. But I think the problem is Norgard's is 2 years ago, Norgard did the most running in the Prem, which is a stat that everyone talked about when we signed him. Last year, he was still in like the top 6 or 7. I think that not only his legs have gone quite a bit this year, so he can't
Yeah.
necessarily do that Rice role to the extent of we want. And I think also I think that we signed Norgard because we had the idea that we wanted to sign Bouaddi in Jan because we knew that we couldn't sign him until he turned
Yeah.
18, which we spoke about in the summer. And I believe now with the
Called
rumours,
it.
even if we don't get Bouaddi, I believe that is the thinking that they had going into this window. And unfortunately as well, Norgard just can't seem to run as much as some of these other, like as much as they maybe thought he can, or his legs are gone or whatever. And it does feel like to me Arteta doesn't trust him. I get why he doesn't. He's going to have to play like against Club Brugge on Wednesday. He will just have to play. Like we don't have an option. Like
Yeah.
we have to give rest to these players in a game that doesn't really matter against a good team. Club Brugge are not even bad, but like we just have to rest some players. Or he can play Miles in midfield, but then even then Miles is going to kind of have to play left back because
Mhm.
you know everyone else has played loads. Hincapie's played loads now. Calafiori's played
Yeah.
all the time. So it's one of these things where like he is going to have to trust him eventually. I hope he does. I don't mind Norgard playing a bit. Like even if Bouaddi comes in, if we have a major injury crisis, we're going to need Norgard. Like it's the whole thing where like then we saw them rumors the other day where it's like Arsenal have rejected any possibility of Ben White leaving in January, and it's like even if Ben White isn't playing, he needs to. He's on the bench in case we get an injury to Timber, and then he has to play every game. Like we can't
Yep.
sit there and take these players out. And a lot of people say this, like Ethan and Miles, and they're like, well, we should get rid of him and get him on loan. I can kind of understand Ethan a little bit, but Miles can't leave. Like, we just can't afford to because we could have, how many injuries we get in like 2 weeks? We could have so many
Yep.
injuries and then we've got to bring them in. Marley Salmon is close to getting on the bench and playing. He's 16. Like, he's close to being in the squad. So, like, permanently. So, like, I mean, I don't know. I think this is a big worry, and I just don't think we can. We bought 8 players in the summer, and we need more people in the squad because of the injuries. But it is what it is.
That's
Like,
nuts, isn't it?
I do kind of like the thing is with the injury. I just like the squad we have now. Like we have so many players that can step up. I feel like I'm actually
Mhm.
sad about this Mascara injury. Apparently it might be around more 6 weeks. I've heard, but like
Yeah.
it's annoying because it's Mascara and I want him to get more game time because he's so young and I think that would just benefit him. Like Hincapie's great. I'm not surprised he's been excellent when he's played. Like Hincapie is like an international. This guy's played at like the highest level like for years. So it's great to see him playing. And I said this before, like every single player, every single game this season, when we win, a different player steps up. It seems like
Yep.
Hincapie didn't play for the first 2 months, and now it seems to be he's in the limelight. You know, Ben White is in the limelight. You know, Marino's in the limelight. These players didn't even play at the start of the season, and you know, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna take benefit in the players that we have, like fit. And also, I think Saliba's fine. I think Trossard's fine, and I think Gabriel's only a few weeks away. So it's not like I don't think we've got the hardest fixture schedule in the next couple of weeks anyway. Like, we've kind of gone through the hard game. I know every game's somewhat
Yeah,
tough,
just get
but
Villa out of the way, and then it's a little bit, but not like it
well,
has
I mean,
been.
we play Wolves at home like next weekend. Like, Marley
Yeah.
Salmon, do you want to play?
Yeah. Yeah, come on, Max, get on the pitch.
Battle Max
Ethan.
has to get some minutes. Yeah, it's
Oh,
Wolves.
he's
Wolves are
got
so
to.
bad, man.
All right. I mean, Burns has put in the chat, the Camavinga is a great shout. We need to think about the players we want to bring and having future or high potential. Also, oh, it's just popped off. Let's go back on. It's time for upgrades, not just squad fillers. Like, I mean, I do agree. However, we're in a position where this squad now, even if we did no work in January, I'd be like, cool, which is crazy. I don't remember the last time. Probably the last time was when we were invincible, and you know, Wenger did it quite a lot. Just was like, no, I'm not going to buy anyone. No, or I'll just buy Lehman. Or Czech. I think he did it with Czech once, didn't he? Just only bought Czech in. Unless we can get someone who is like a Bouaddi, like a top talent to bring in, or like an undeniable upgrade on someone else, then I'm not too worried about January. But like in terms of upgrades, there's not many positions now that I look at and go, that's a glaring weakness. Because like the centre backs, we've got fantastic cover now. Right back, like there's a lot of talk about Ben White. Like I've been guilty of it and going, he's probably one of the more obvious players if you want to make good money and then you want to change up the squad. Like he makes sense and he's had injuries. At the same time, showed recently how good he is. Like I think he reminded everyone. And he's like put his body on the line constantly for this club. Like he's just got the attitude we like at Arsenal as well. Like I do like Ben White. I just feel there's a bit of that. What have you done for me lately with him? Left back, again, Calafiori, Miles, not a problem. Like I don't really feel like we need an upgrade there. Midfield, like who are you going to get as an upgrade for Zubimendi and Reece? Now we've got Odegaard and Eze as 10s or like 8 10s. Up top, we've got Mikel Merino, who we'll probably get onto in a minute. Gyökeres has just come in. Havertz is there. So it's not like we're lacking in terms of quality there. Like you could argue like a real world-class 9, but looking at the market, like God to help you, you're trying to find one. Out on the right, you got Bukayo Saka and you got Madueke, so no real upgrades there. And then on the left, that's probably the only place. And it goes back to Millsy saying, like, Yildiz is probably the one, like maybe a Semenyo. Like, I do want to talk about Yildiz a minute, because on the Cannon podcast, that Alex was saying that he feels that Yildiz is probably an upgrade on Martinelli. However, he had concerns that he's not quite got the searing pace of a Martinelli. And we don't want to kind of lose that because really he's the only kind of, the true pace merchant in our squad. I mean, Gyökeres has got some pace, but it's not the same type. And I guess Yildiz, like on average, I think he's about 2 kilometers an hour slower than Martinelli. But I think to me, he's still like relatively, quick. And also I feel like on the ball, he's far better than Martinelli. Like, have you got any worries about that? Or do you think like we'd have to get someone else in? I guess it depends if you get rid of Trossard and Martinelli. But Martinelli out, Yildiz in. Happy with that?
Yeah, that's all right. I feel like sometimes there's a certain aspect of like nitpicking at things we don't even know. Like Yildiz is 4 years younger than Martinelli. Like there is still a big level there. And also I think
That's bad, isn't it?
I think Yildiz is a slower player than Martinelli, but I also think Martinelli can be quick because all his runs are like in behind. Yildiz is much more of a ball to feet, like deeper player.
Yeah.
I do think the Yildiz fit in terms of profile of our team is weird. That's why I'm like so like peculiar that Arsenal have like seemed to be wanting to get him more than any of the other talents. But like he is, I'd say like probably the best talent of his age group in that category of any attacker, really. I think he's up there.
Mm.
I do want to say quickly, like as well before we talk about you, like I find it funny how like comment about Camavinga, like how I think about Arsenal needing to build the squad right now is actually the complete opposite. Like I don't think that we need to be signing Camavinga type players. I just feel like we have enough of a good of a core squad too. I feel like that's like a
Yeah.
United signing where they're like panicking. Like I don't think Camavinga's a bad player. I actually think Arsenal needs to go the complete other way and just sign loads of youngsters. We just need to monopolize the market of really good youngsters. Some of them we won't get, won't be great, and then we can sell them on for profit. And then some of them will be great, and we can actually play them. And we don't have to worry too much because they're already going to be at a good enough level to play, but then they can come in. That's why, like, I've seen a lot of people talk about Jeremy Jacquet in January. We've been linked before. I
Mate,
don't
he's a
mind
player.
that. The problem is like we have so many centre backs that in order for him to play, he's 18. He kind of needs to play to an extent a little bit. Like Bouaddi, only Rice would be ahead of him in that actual
Yeah.
role, so I'm not worried. But like with Jacquet, like there would be a few players in front of him, so maybe there'd be a concern there. But then he could still learn under them. We've seen the development these players have had on the bench anyway, and we've been using
Yeah.
the squad more. So that's something that I would be down to much more. I'd rather us going for the Jacquets, the Bouaddis. I'd rather us pay a premium for these youngsters and get them in now because, you know, when they're worth 100 million, this is the whole Šeško thing, isn't it? Like, Man United tried to get him 2 years ago for like 25 mil, and then he said no, and then they ended up buying him for like 70 mil 2 years later when he'd barely even improved as a player. Like, if you just get these players in really young, not only can you develop them in the way you want, then you can kind of dictate their value and how good they are. It doesn't always work out. Like, I know
Yeah.
we've been burnt with Fabio Vieira and Lokonga, but Fabio Vieira and Lokonga weren't the best talents in Europe. Like, they were just good talents, especially Fabio Vieira was a good talent. Lokonga was just like okay in Belgium. Like, he had
Yeah.
potential. He was very cheap deal. They didn't really see the downfall of it. It's like if we sign Mendoza, like I think Mendoza's a cheap deal, worth taking the 18 mil risk at that point. Like if you're gonna play him, like I think he's fine for that. But that's kind of where I look at things. I think when it comes to like Yildiz, like Yildiz is going to cost so much money, like a premium amount of money. Like we might be talking even more than Semenyo, talking more than these players. It's because of his age, because of his importance for his club, because of Juventus, and they can probably ask for a higher fee. So it's these things that have to be considered. I really do wonder. I really think that Arsenal will have a price point at Yildiz, and if it's too expensive, they might just say, we just have to go and get a younger left winger and maybe keep Martinelli and just let him develop with the other two or get rid of Trossard or whatever. Because
Yeah.
there has been links to many other wingers. There's bigger risks. Like I don't like the thing is the problem is the price point of all these players is crazy. Like Bouaddi from Frankfurt, Plattenberg on Twitter was talking about 70 mil euros. I was like, this guy doesn't even play for Frankfurt. He scored 3 goals. Like, I'm not paying 70 mil euros. That's not worth it. I just wouldn't bother. You know, that's when you pay. I've been talking to a lot of people in the industry who are a lot more, I'd say, clued up in the finances of football. And they always
Yeah.
say to me, as soon as you pay, like even with the market being a bit crazy, like it was last summer, if you're paying 60, 65 and over for a player, you want that player to be even have potential and you know where you want to mold them or have it now. They want to have an idea that player will come in and be better than some of their teammates at what they are at. So, and that's why a lot of them have said to me that Semenyo is not actually worth 65 mil because, you know, what's he going to do for some of these teams? He really benefits from playing this counter-attacking, aggressive, end-to-end football where you might get that at Liverpool, but they're not very good at the moment. You're not going to get that at City, Arsenal, Chelsea. You're not going to get that at these teams, like, to the way that he wants. There will be moments in games that these teams play direct, but it's not going to be the same. So is it worth paying that amount of money? That is a lot of money. And I kind of think that's the same with these. Like, Guild is... It's so weird because everyone says to me, like, who's your favourite left winger for Arsenal? I don't really know because I think all of the left wingers on the market have considerable flaws. It just depends what you want. And this is why I'm not really that deep on it because we can easily win the league with Trossard and Martinelli and Eze and left wing. And I'm not that, like that's all that matters. I want to win trophies. I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, we need to improve that, plug that gap. It's not always about that. I would rather spend 50 mil on Bouaddi and actually secure a position, which we need to, as in backup for Rice, then worry about buying another left winger. We'll sell Martinelli first, and then we can see what will happen. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Yildiz is the one by like what it seems like is going on. But who knows? That's so long away. I'm not even thinking about a left winger. Like even a centre back is probably more in my thought process at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. Yeah, do you know what? It's so nice that I have a lot of confidence in our recruitment now. Like, years gone by, it's been a bit hit and miss, and then Arteta came in and it started to change, and now especially with Berta, like that last summer was an excellent summer, like really, really good. Like the whole philosophy around that transfer window was amazing, and I I just think as much as I want to kind of, I don't know, put these ideas out and I want to like double guess the club of like how their thinking is and what the profile they want in is. At the end of the day, I know they're going to make a really good choice anyway. So it's it's so fortunate because oh God, it's been years since we've been in a position like that.
It's crazy, and even like the youth signings have been so much better. Like Holger and Edwin Quinta. Look at that. See, we're like we're literally like professionals like this. Like that's how we do segues. Look, Holger and Edwin. This is quite funny how this happened because like you see like reports. I know it was like relatively quite reliable journalists who said this, but you see reports about Arsenal talking to these like specifically like young players, but then you never hear anything about it. Like remember the whole Severo Napan thing that went on for ages, and we were like going to sign him, and then we didn't, and then no one heard anything for 5 months, and now and then he went to City, and you're like, oh. But this just came. Obviously, this came out because they had been at Arsenal the week before, which is why it happened. But I don't know. When I saw the news, I made a short about it, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Probably won't hear much for now." And then I looked like 2 days later. I'm like, "Oh, they've been announced." And it's funny because, like, obviously, I knew these guys. Like, I'm not a South American scout like this. I'm not watching the Ecuadorian. I'm not watching Independiente de Valier's academy, even though I know it's amazing and I know they consistently get youngsters who are amazing from it. But I did know who these guys were through, like, obviously old Ben Mattison tweets and like people have been speaking about these guys for a couple of years now. So there's been a point where like it's the same with the centre back that's gone to Chelsea or Denise. It's like him as well. Like if anyone plays FM as well, you know these guys, you know all Denise. Like they're like big players on these teams. So I knew who they were, and I don't know. All week I've been talking about like. This is weird, don't you think? I was like, I don't know how twins work, okay? Because I thought like twins is genetic.
When they're born, what happens is they basically they come out on the same day usually, and unless it's like a midnight or something, and sometimes there's a little time.
But aren't they like the same person?
They share the same mother, and she goes for a pregnancy with both of them.
But I'm like why I'm confused is because I thought like identical twins specifically had very similar like just genetics like in most ways. I guess like a lot of it is nurture and stuff as well. But one of them's left-footed and one of them's right-footed, and I thought that stuff. I mean, I don't know how that still works. I'm definitely not qualified to talk about that. But I just don't, like, I was like, it's kind of mad to me that they're identical twins. And one's right foot and one's left foot. I thought that was so cool. I don't know why. I don't know. Quinton Timber and Urian are the same foot, aren't they? Like, I don't know. It's just cool,
maybe they're meant to be conjoined twins, and then they kind of split before birth. And luckily, they both ended up with 2 legs, and they're fine now.
I think it's so fun having. That must be so like lit to have like a like a brother your same age as you exactly.
Mate, we've got to get in Quinton Timber now, haven't we? We've got to just do it. Let's just, like how we had all the Gabbies. Like, let's just get all twins in world football now.
It's going to be complicated, isn't it? When the ref's trying to give a yellow and he's like lost. There's like so many different players.
Do you remember there was a rumour with the twins at Man United, and there was a whole conspiracy
Raphael
of
Fabio.
Yeah. Bergie like swapping them at half time, so you got a fresh player on, but it's anyone.
I think Raphael was the better one. I couldn't remember though.
Yeah, but and they just suddenly like disappeared as well, because I remember that he had like a really good season and just gone.
I feel like everyone like in the Fergie era just disappeared.
That's true. I mean, these guys are like, from what I've been like hearing, like from like George from the Cam podcast as well as Ben Mattison, they're very, very highly regarded, and there's some really good talent coming out of Ecuador now. Bit, you know, different players. Like one's more of a 10, one's more of a winger. Yeah, like it is good, but again, it shows that we are thinking long term now, and it's about time that the Hale End, as much as we've had, you know, we've had some brilliant talents come out of Hale End, it's about time that we start making it into like an absolute like factory, just churning out talent. And as that's a bit of a weird statement because we're not personally developing them from a young age. This is what big clubs do, though. They get them in, they start getting them to play the way that they want to play them, and it's interesting that they're quite flair players. Like I think that's fair to say that they've got, you know, some of that X factor on the ball, and that's not something that we've really seen, especially in the Premier League. Like it's kind of, you know, retain possession, like don't go for the high risk things, but they've definitely got something about them. They're fantastic players. So yeah, it's
I
really
mean,
good.
it's so you only start to realize how much of a monopoly Chelsea have on every single good youngster in the world when you play Football Manager and you type in top 10 wonder kids, and then you go in any country, Kazakhstan, Sapeyov, gone Chelsea. You know, they're in talks with Kabashvili from Georgia. Oh, great. You know, they've just signed Ordonez from Ecuador. It's like, oh, my God. So I'm sure that they tried to sign these guys as well. They probably did. They probably tried to sign every single youngster. We have the benefit of not actually having that much, like, competition, like, in terms of our squad. If you go to Chelsea, you know that you'll probably get a career. And I think this is why a lot of these guys go straight away, because they will get somewhat of a career and they'll get filtered out to somewhere that will be competitive. But like with Arsenal, if you come into Arsenal, these guys are coming in. Not only is all the fans like, okay, who are these guys, like looking at them, like already caring. Like if you're Chelsea fans, I know what they've said about some of the players they've signed. They've gone like, what, another one? Like I bet half of them can't even keep up with how many youngsters they've signed, which I don't blame them either.
Yeah.
And I think with Arsenal, it's very different. I think when you're coming to Arsenal, when they won't come till 2027, but when they are here, like there is going to be a big incentive of like, let's get them in the team, let's play them, let's see how they do. I mean, it's interesting because Edwin is the better one. Like Edwin is a real, like, I talk to people who are from South America and they tell me all the time that this guy's like the one of the, like basically the best talent in South America, or up there. Like he's a 10 out of 10, 5-star potential, whatever you want to call. Like he is up there. And Holgard maybe is like a little bit less, like a 9.5, maybe like 4.5 star, but he is really good still. But Edwin is the winger. And we've got our right wing position with Saka, Madueke, Dowman.
I know, it's
like,
mad, isn't it?
And his guy, because this guy's the same age as Dowman, or he's a bit older. No, yeah, he's like the same year group, I think.
Relatively, yeah, 16, aren't they?
So I think that would be a nice little... Like, I know people would be like, wait, see, this is the thing where people would be like, where's the pathway? But you just don't look at things like that. You get the talent in when you can, and then you figure it out later. And if it doesn't work,
especially
then you can
at that price, like... You know,
and
you know, it's
so fun to have twins as well. I think it's fun because they're I think it's even more fun to have two twins just in the same team, same age. Like, oh, let's get Quinton in.
I mean, yeah, Vegas. I don't know if you remember because you're on here every single week anyway. We did bring this up, didn't we? And we said about the almost like the rivalry they have. You know, some people like to kind of play. You know, like in tennis, how they have doubles. And you always like have like two like brothers who are on the same side or whatever. But it seems like, Quentin and Urian have a bit of a rivalry. I think he'd be more likely to go to like Tottenham, to be honest, with you, simply to spite his brother. But Quentin, it would be class. I do think he would be brilliant. Like he's the right kind of profile, like price. He'd be great. It would be wicked to have him. I quite like the way he plays.
His mentality is really good. Like we already know that's going to be a given, considering like his brother is like probably the utmost professional we have in the club. Again, like I said earlier, if you want a backup to Rice and you're worried you're not going to get anywhere near the quality, you just get someone that can cover a lot of ground. Quinton Timber covers a lot of ground, so I mean, I would love it, to be honest. But like obviously, like I mean, he's on a free though. Like that's why I'd rather. Yeah. I would rather get an extra player like Quinton Timber in with a Bouaddi. Like I know this is crazy, but because he's a free, I know the wage is going to be a bit more maybe. then like
I
spending
don't think
60
he's
mil.
going to demand that stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not like he's going to be getting 150 grand. I don't
Well,
think.
maybe though, because he's doing the whole Jonathan David setup, which is actually really smart. And more players in that mid-level need to do this. When you're like, you're trying to get a move away from Feyenoord, and the top options are like West Ham and like Palace, and then you're like, if I just run down by contract, every single team will be like, yeah, might as well. It's literally the Jonathan
End
David
up with
method.
Juve.
Jonathan David was linked to West Ham for 5 years, and he was like, "Yeah, nah, I'm all right. I'm just gonna run down my contract and goes to Juve now." And it's like, "Oh, it's all right then. It's worked out for him."
Like, this is a good shout as well. Love Zaire Emery. If Bouaddi has gone to PSG, they can't be hogging all those midfield talents, surely. Like, I know it goes back to that Chelsea thing of like just controlling the market. Essentially, they've got an absolute monopoly there. It's crazy. Like, I don't want to hoard talent, but we've got to be in the strongest possible position we can be. And I think if that was a case, if it did kind of rock the boat a bit and they were looking and Zaire Emery's going, this isn't a good sign, I've got to get out. I like the move, but I do think Bouaddi is a better fit than Zaire Emery, although like the talent, like both of them are just super, super high potential. Although I do think...
Yeah.
Who do you think's more ready-made now? Zaire Emery?
Well, Zaire Emery's played right back like the entire season. He's played like he's played like every game, so I don't think he's gonna be leaving anytime soon.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to know because I just haven't really watched Zaire Emery in midfield for like a year now. He isn't really like he's just a squad option, but he is playing right back now. I think Bouaddi has a better platform and like attributes that I would maybe prefer for our team. I think Zaire Emery's a little bit more of like a calmer midfielder, better passer, better at picking out things. I do think like the thing is PSG, this is a thing to look at. Like PSG do fumble their youngsters. Like it is, you look at half of Bayer Leverkusen's invincible team and it's like PSG youngsters. There's so many just youngsters that leave PSG. I mean, Ekatike is just one, for example, that like they just never really gave a chance. They bought Ekatike, but they never really gave him the chance, and then he just kind of like left. I like Malulu, who scored in the Champions League final, but he's been playing recently because he like has to. But if we are talking about a Bouaddi, like, well, that
that's a good shout, mate.
That is actively going to affect Malulu. Like, I don't think Malulu's like as good as Bouaddi though, and he is old. He's like 19, 20, but I just think, like, you know, he's that talent.
Yeah, that's too old. Too old.
Yeah, you know, it's like Chelsea's like transfer method. It's like I was watching the Chelsea creator talking about it. He was like, "Well, I would want to sign Mateta, but we know that they have a policy they can't sign over 25-year-olds." So he was like, "It's never going to happen." I was like, "That's hilarious." I was like, "Surely you just get one player over 25 to like lead them or whatever." Like, that's what I would do. Like, a Mateta for Chelsea would be amazing. Like, even for like a year and a half before his legs fell off. Like, you might as well. Like, I don't know. I'd do it. But
like, it's funny because the old regime, like Osimhen, would have been a shoo-in for Chelsea. Had it written all over him. They would change the board and suddenly, or change who you're owned by. Is it like Blue Sky or whatever?
Yeah,
and then apparently now you can't get someone like that. I just think it's mental.
To be fair,
it's all about balance. Like, pardon?
They did well because the wages were crazy.
Yeah, I mean that is true, but not that Chelsea have ever worried about anything financially. To be fair, yeah, I do think. Actually, do you know what? I want to put this out as well. Some people are looking at Bouaddi, and I saw this online and going, "Oh, but look at his stats on FBref, and look on who scored at his ratings." Look at Zubimendi's prior to coming to Arsenal. Nothing special. Like, they're not like Sociedad. Nothing like kind of came out. Go and look now at his stats for, you know, the amount of weeks that he's been at Arsenal. Completely changed. And I would just always keep that in mind. Like, you cannot just completely. And we, to be fair, we both love stats. We like to use them, you know, to kind of guide us in some respects. But just don't look at the numbers all the time. I think he's one that just passed the eye test as well. He's fantastic.
Everything has to be in context. Like, stats is when you're comparing, like, bear in mind, like his FB ref stats are compared to every single type of midfielder. Like they broadly have
Yeah.
DMs, attacking midfield, and wingers or whatever as different options. But every 8 in the world, 8 is the most diverse position in the world because like some of these guys aren't box to box. Some of these guys do different roles. Like Odegaard isn't
Yep.
like Odegaard's an all-phase midfielder and he is a natural 8, but he's not particularly like a box-to-box midfielder. Like I don't think anyone would call him that. He's not really like that sort of guy. So like these guys, like that's why it makes me laugh. Like it's like when everyone goes on about Odegaard's progressive stats, and I do think that his progressive stats are better. Like I watched the game against Brentford, and I did think there was a few moments in there where I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough. He does see the space and he does take it. He's not as bad as maybe I discredited him for in the past for, but a lot of the time, like he makes progressive runs and carries when the space is there because everyone else is giving him the space. Like against PSV when we won 7-1 last year, he made 12 carries into the final third. I actually remember this stat off by heart. Usually he makes about 7 a game, which is really high. That's still like one of the highest in Europe. And it's like, well, when we move midfields around, he has the space to run. Like I expect him to. Does that mean Odegaard's like a really good carrier? No, because he can't do it in tight areas. He just does it in the space that we afford him. And that's why like all stats have to be taken into context. But Bouaddi is an incredible carrier. He'd probably he'd be our best carrier maybe, other than Miles, or at least comparable. I don't know. Miles is weird, man. Nah, Miles is really good at carrying. I don't want to discredit him.
Different styles of carrying as well. Like,
yeah,
it'd be really nice, like to have that. Yeah, that difference. Should we go on to the Villa game coming up, mate? Because it's early doors.
It's literally in like what 14 hours. It's crazy.
How are you feeling about it? Because let's be honest, we have had a few injuries. I don't know if anyone's realised that. Thanks to everyone in the chat as well, by the way. 14 of you. Hit the likes, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. We are here every Friday. And go visit FOKLZ channel as well. Ooh. Although you probably don't need any more subscriptions, do you? I don't know.
I definitely do.
Yeah, I mean, the Villa game, we've got a lot of injuries. It's been historically a pretty difficult game for us. Like depending on the mid block, depending on the low block, whatever they want to play, they do make it hard for us. We're missing, well, a lot of our kind of attacking options now, a lot of our defensive options. Are we getting the win? Just tell me that first. Please say yes.
Yep, I'm not even worried.
Cool.
I was more worried. I was more worried when we played Brentford.
Was that because it was straight after like the big game, and you've got that lull, or is it just because like stylistic?
That's why. Villa suck. I don't even care. They're not even a frat.
Cool. Sorted. Job done. Ollie Watkins, no point of him being on the thumbnail of this video.
Oh, he only figured out what football was like 3 days ago. So,
I mean, I'm still worried, but I'm just like an old, miserable man with PTSD. That's why. By the way, my chair is constantly getting lower. I've noticed this over the last few streams. I start the stream. Guys, I'm not shrinking. It's just my chair. Yeah, like Villa, I just don't know. I hate playing them. The same as like Newcastle. I hate playing Newcastle. There's certain teams that just do my head in. And regardless of like how well we play, I can imagine, someone hitting a worldie, like, a Watkins ridiculously tight angle, or Martinez with a stave, or just something, or them just breaking one of our legs. Or
it's funny you mentioned scoring a worldie, because before the Brighton game that they played on Wednesday, they had scored 56% of their goals this season from outside the box. The average amount of distance that they've scored this season is 17.2 yards. That is literally just in the box. How do they know what the box is? Do they realise that you're supposed to get in the box? The thing is,
mate, there was a period of time. Do you remember when every single one of our goals conceded was like outside of the box? Absolutely, like it was like 0.0 something XG on every shot. It was absolutely ridiculous. Like it seems like they've just got that magic wand right now.
I mean, like this is the thing with them. Like they definitely could give us a big game tomorrow, down to fitness problems that we have, down to the
Yeah.
timing of it, down to them being up for it, down to like Unai Emery just like try harding against us, which he always does. But then when he plays City, he just like throws in the towel. Yeah, I know, Unai. I've done this for years now, mate. Like it, like all the time he does this. Like, and that is a big factor that has to be considered. Villa do cause us problems. They've always caused us problems. We
Yeah.
won there last year, and we did not deserve to win there last year, and it was hilarious. That was where Watkins just couldn't score for anything. But like, yeah, there is a bit of a worry there. This is a tough game. Like, I think when people look at the table and they're like, oh, they're third, I think that makes it seem like it's a tougher game than I perceive it to be because I know the context. They are
Yep.
an insanely weird team. They are the weirdest team in football in the world because on expected points, they have overperformed points this season by currently 14 or something. They should be before they played Brighton on Wednesday on the expected points table. They were not 18th. They were in the relegation zone. Now they've moved up to 15th now because they actually deservedly beat Brighton. They did deserve it. Well done.
Yeah.
They deservedly beat Brighton. However, they deservedly beat Brighton, but then completely forgot how to defend. They've been pretty good. They're a pretty good defensive team. They've been relatively decent all year, but they forgot in the week. And one big reason for that is certain Emi Martinez. While we were talking about your back hurting, he hurt his back in the warm up against Brighton and got pulled out. Got pulled out, one there. So they had to put Bizot in, and poor Bizot is like, what am I doing? And in the first goal they score, Brighton, is they just have a corner, they cross it in, and Bizot just misses it, and it goes behind him, and Van Hecke scores. Admittedly, later on, he does a really, really good save to keep them the win later on. And so no one cares about the 3 goals you conceded and all the mess and mistakes because you won the game and you did a good save at the end. So good luck on Bizot. Now, I looked at the reports yesterday about if Emi Martinez was going to play. I heard that it was still a big doubt. And
That's what I was going to say. He seems like he's a doubt for it.
I would imagine
the predicted lineups have been bizarre.
If he hurt his back on Wednesday in the warm-up, like for a goalkeeper to hurt his back, I mean, actually, well, back is a big part of it, but I guess, I don't know, like, in order to do that, I feel like it has to be somewhat significant. So I feel like, I mean, he could just play it and he might just not have a back and then he can't dive. But I feel like if Emi Martinez is not in this game, I don't think, like, straight up, I don't think Emi Martinez is a good goalkeeper. I don't think he's a top 10 keeper in the league. I think he's awful. But he has this juju against Arsenal where, like, he doesn't always play well against us. Like, he still does do blunders against us. Like, he did blunder last year.
He's had a couple mistakes, hasn't he?
Where Partey scored and it was at him and he just let it in. You know, one where hit Jorginho, hit the bar. I mean, maybe you could say it's unlucky. I think it's pretty unlucky, but still going to blame him because it's funny. And like, I think there's a certain level there. Like, I just don't like playing against Martinez because he's annoying, and like, I just don't want to see his face. Like, respectfully, I just don't want to. So, like, playing Bizot, who really struggled to deal with crosses and corners. I know that we're not necessarily this corner threat team at the moment. We haven't really scored any in 4 games in the league. You know, we're going to play some random ass players, so the threat's even going to be less. But that is still a thing to look out for. But yeah, like, Villa are just a weird team. They should be 15th in the league. They're third. They've nearly every game this season has been like 0.4 XG for both teams, and they've won. I watched their game against Tottenham. They had 2 shots from about 25 yards and won the game. Tottenham did nothing either. That was the worst game of my life, but somehow Aston Villa won. I watched them play Leeds last weekend at Elland Road. And I came away with it. Leeds played well. Leeds actually played well, and they lost. Leeds played well against Villa. It was basically an even game, and then Rodgers just turned into like Rodgers and just scored 2 goals. Right, he scored a free kick and he scored another goal where he nicked in at the front post, and that was it. They didn't really do anything else, and I was just like, how have they won this game? Like, they've created nothing, they've done nothing, and they've won. And this is the tale of Villa's season. They play awful football, they do nothing, and they win games. And I would say, like, going into this game, usually any team that's playing like this, we would destroy them. But obviously, there is a certain fact they do score a lot of long shots, which, you know, that is still could happen. Like, you wouldn't expect them to keep scoring long shots. That's not how it works, but they could. You never know. And also the fact that this is just what Unai Emery does, though, isn't it? Like, he always has weird expected goal stats. When we went 25 games unbeaten with us, or 24, we were like playing Watford or whatever, conceding 30 shots, or using like a 3xG and then drawing 2-2. Oh, yeah, keep the unbeaten streak. It's like, how? I remember watching a Villa game a year and a half ago where they played Sheffield United or Burnley or someone like that, and they won 1-0 at home. And I watched this game and I was amazed. I remember my jaw was on the floor because I think Burnley or Sheffield, it was someone like relegation side. It might have been like a Leicester. And they had like a 3xG. They missed like 4 1-on-1s or whatever. And I was like, how are Villa getting away with this? I don't know. Unai Emery has, I don't know, done a deal with some certain people because how he keeps getting away with this. So I like in terms of like how the game's going to play, I'm not that worried because I don't think Villa are very good. I don't think they're the third best team in the league. I think they're probably
No.
about. I do think their stats are widely bad because their first 5 games were awful, but I still think they're like a 10th, 11th best team. I think we've played widely better teams than them.
Oh,
But like,
100%.
but like we drew to Sunderland, and Sunderland are just like the exact same. Like they just get them. They've got the exact same expected points difference. They actually should be in the relegation zone. But the thing is with Sunderland, they're braver, so I can kind of sympathise. I can kind of be like, oh, fair enough, they're getting a bit lucky because they've been braver. Villa are just awful. Ollie Watkins this season has been dreadful, awful, until the only game he's been good in was against Brighton in the week where he scored a brace. He'd scored 1 goal before that in like a 4xG, and some of the chances. Marlon had scored more goals. He'd scored 2 braces off the
Marlon's the
bench.
top scorer right now, isn't he?
Yeah, off the bench mostly over Watkins, and
Yeah.
I was like, people wanted to spend 60 mil on Watkins, by the way, in Jan.
I mean, to be fair, I think Marlon's got 4, but yeah, Gyökeres, Eze, and Stacker have got 4. I could be wrong there. That's off the top of my head. But at least we're like spreading goals. Whereas for them, yeah, they're just depending on Marlon to come on and rescue them, or like Rodgers to just bail them out. Potentially, that's what's happening there. Shall I bring up the tactics board? Should we put up the old tactics board and go through our lineup? Hang on. Jorginho's shot that came off the back of Martinez head for an own goal was one of my favourite goals. I mean, a bit of an odd favourite goal, mate. But I'm presuming it's the context of it. Let me see if I can bring up the tactical board. I haven't got a Villa ready, but we can throw one together. That'd be right.
I hate Villa.
Mate,
I hate Villa so much. It's just,
you can vamp a minute while I'm doing this.
I mean, one of the biggest. This every week when we do our predicted lineups for the game, it's just going to get messier and messier. Like a couple of weeks ago, I remember saying like, "Oh, we always do these all fancy things, but realistically, he's just going to keep it similar." He's going to have to start doing fancy things now because everyone's injured. So we've been prepared for this. We've been coming up with solutions every week of who's going to play. I'm not even sure who's going to play because a lot of it is dependent on fitness and like where these players are at, and I just don't know. Like, I'd be really interested to see. I wasn't surprised about the Chelsea lineup. I did think it would. I thought he'd play Madueke for the old club Juju, but Martinelli makes more sense, I guess. But I kind of think it was more fun for Madueke. Obviously, we didn't expect Saliba to like pull out randomly get injured the day before, so that was just like, oh, okay.
At this point, you might as well put a bet on someone pulling out at the beginning of a game or just before it.
Yeah, for any team, for both teams as well. Like anyone's a threat. Like this isn't even just an Arsenal thing at this point. Like every team, like, we're talking about playing Aston Villa, and they haven't got it's Martinez. He's just not there. Like it's just so funny how it works. But I think I wasn't that surprised about the lineups. I kind of like how Hincapie's now played like a decent amount of games now. Like I think. I thought Hincapie would be brilliant, and he has been so good since he's come. And he's just so aggressive. That it just really is helpful. Like he is the closest player to Gabriel that we're gonna get in many ways, especially like that in the air ability. It's not Gabriel like, but he is very good. I do think like a lot of people have been talking about the real big drop off from Gabriel and Saliba not playing is like our engagement on like initial balls, like goal kicks and stuff. We're not as good from them at winning them. Hincapie can win them. We saw the one against Tottenham, but yeah, it's not as concrete, and I think. That is the biggest difference between them. But I'm hoping Saliba's back. The problem is Mikel Arteta is like, he's fun. Like I love Arteta, I really do. Like obviously, but when I watch his press conferences, I'm like, this guy is like speaking of riddles, man. I'm like, I have to get a decipher out, and it's like because we have been with Arteta now for half a decade, like we've been here for so long, we can kind of maybe understand what he's saying a little bit more than like normal people, because we kind of get what he's saying, like especially when
Yeah.
it comes to injuries, where he's like, because early he did the press conference.
We said it in the last week, didn't we? We were like, yeah, that doesn't sound promising. Like he kind of will go, yeah, they're on the way back. It's like, oh, okay, that could be next week.
And,
That
and
could
if
be in
they are
4 months'
close,
time.
he's like, oh yeah, you could tell when they are close because he gets excited. Like when they've been talking about Saliba and Trossard recently, he's like, yeah, back a few days or whatever. And he's been a bit more open about these guys compared to some of the others. But like with Mascara today, like earlier, he literally said like, oh, I think that one's going to be a while. We're still waiting. And then now we got the news and was like, well, that makes sense because of what he's like. But I don't know when like Gabriel surely isn't going to be injured for that like 2-3 weeks. Surely ain't that much longer. I don't know. I don't know how long.
I heard it might be a little bit longer.
Well,
I hate
I
to
heard
put that
I heard
up.
that he'd be back before January. Like I thought that might be where he comes back, and I don't know. Because the funny thing is,
So
the context around Aston Villa is hilarious because we play him twice in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We play him at New Year's as well. So
oh yeah, we do.
So I've been talking to Villa.
I didn't even think about
I've been
that.
talking to Villa fans, and they're like talking about our injuries, and they're like they're just not going to play us. And I was like, we did this last year. We always do this with one team, obviously, because that's how the schedule works. But we're just going to forget that we even played Villa when like it comes to this point. Like you play them twice, so like in such a quick succession of each other. It's so weird. It's just funny. I don't know. I'm not like overly worried, to be honest, about the defensive injuries. I think, especially with the
it would
form
be
of some of the
right.
players. But it's just right.
I have, in that amount of time, I've kind of put together a team, a Villa team. Like, I mean, bear in mind, everyone, I mean, that literally just did that. So if this all goes wrong, oh no, please don't tell me I've just messed that up. If this all goes completely wrong, then I mean, it is what it is. Do you know what has just happened? I genuinely think I've lost it all. As I said that. How frustrating. I'll do it anyway. Let's just bring this up. Let's just go for it. I will send you a little link. Oh, it's gone back to Tottenham. Wonderful. That's what I want. Yeah, I want to relive that Tottenham one.
Living in the past. Let's go back to the Tottenham game, guys. To be fair.
Yep. I've just sent you the link, mate.
It's actually... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just looking at some of our injuries. It's not that bad, to be fair. Where's the thing?
Right. Can you see that? Everyone see that? Hit me in the chat. Can you see the tactical board? I think you guys can.
Kolo Muani.
Ooh, I was going to say Jesus. Jesus minutes pending. I mean,
we're bringing in Jesus. It's our new signing.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to delete these guys because I don't think any of these players play for Aston Villa. There we go. And I'm so annoyed right now that I've just done all of that for no reason. Wonderful. Let's go through our team while I'm doing this. David Raya stays in goal. Agreed.
His save in the first half against Brentford is probably one of the best saves he's ever done for the club. That save is unbelievable. And it's like, so, you know, this has happened like 3 or 4 times this season where we've won a home game 1 or 2-0 and he's made some fantastic save from a corner. This is happened 3 times, I think, this season. Because he did it, I don't know, I can't remember like the game specifically. Leeds, I think he did it in as well, maybe. But there's a few games where we've won at home and kept a clean sheet, and he's made one fantastic save from a corner because we've just not marked from a corner. I know a lot of people have been talking to me about that. I've been like, why are we so bad at defending corners? I was like, I don't know, we just don't mark. Like, I feel like corners to me, I don't really see them as this big, like, deep thing. And that's why it kind of annoys me sometimes when Arsenal do these fancy corners that we do. Has a fancy corner ever worked? Like, other than us just putting a really good cross in at back post, front post, and having a couple of blockers in there, have we actually scored a corner where it's like, oh yeah, we've passed it short, we've done the cross here? Like, every time we do it, it just doesn't work. And and it really annoys me. And I kind of just thinking, like, I do think sometimes you overcomplicate things. It's the whole like Burnley method where they're like, oh well, everyone else is good at set pieces, so we'll just try and be good at set pieces, and they're just like not good at set pieces because they're just trying to do like the most basic stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I find Raya was fantastic in that game against Brentford. That save was
Yeah, he really
incredible.
was.
His distribution has also been very, very good the last like three weeks, I'd say. His passing out to the wing, there was a couple of passes he did. I think there was one he did to Madueke in the second half, and I was like, that is a fantastic pass. He just puts it out there. And I know it's what we got Raya in for, but I feel like I haven't said that enough in the last couple of like years, a year and a half. But he's been really good recently, Raya. And
The
it's
Bayern
great.
Munich one,
Yeah.
his passing was
And he
unreal.
didn't
I
even
mean,
have
I
to
said
do
it on the Cannon
anything.
podcast and the Instant Reaction, but
He doesn't do anything a game. He makes like one save a game, and that's it. So it must be hard to keep focused. Like
yeah.
he just doesn't
I
have
mean,
much to do.
and I think that's why Ramsdale left, isn't it? Because like stupidly put out in the public was like, I can't actually concentrate and stuff. It's like, well, you're at one of the biggest clubs in the world trying to compete for the biggest honours. Like, you're going to have to be able to concentrate, mate. Like,
I think he
know
would
there's
have been
more to it
fine,
than
to be
that, but
fair. Like I think he would have been fine. I think it's just like he always preferred Raya, and I think it's I don't think it's necessarily like a concentration thing, but I think it's a more of a mentality thing just because
mhm,
Ramsdale is a guy that like he acts nonchalant, but he's not a nonchalant guy. You know, when
yeah.
people say stuff, he has feeling. It's a bit like Pickford. Like Pickford's a great goalkeeper, but he's so scatty sometimes. You know, he's jumping about. He's a bit too much. He's a bit too frantic sometimes. I think for what Arteta wants in his defenders and goalie. And I think Raya, even if Raya was a worse shot stopper than Ramsdale, I think he'd still play him just because he's calmer as a person and just a bit more like, you know, oh, let's get on with it sort of thing, not really caring about that sort of thing. And there's something against Ramsdale. Ramsdale's a great goalkeeper. Like, I think we could have won a league with Ramsdale. Like, it really weren't his fault. There was I remember the games he carried us. There was games that he was the only player doing anything. But yeah, you're right. Like, it just is what it
Funny
is,
when
really.
people talk about him as a failed signing. I think he was perfect for what we needed at the time. Like, and
We also
we
sold
wanted
him for how much we
Raya as
bought him
well.
for. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
whatever.
Right, let's go for the team then. So, are we making, because I want to argue something. I wonder if Arteta goes really strong with this one, knowing that we've got like the Wolves game and the Club Brugge game coming up, and then he rests. Like, or do you think we need to like start resting players now, considering what's going on?
You've got. This is a big game. You can't. I mean, as much as I say they're not great, or whatever, they're third in the league. Like, yeah, you can rest against Wolves. Respectfully, Wolves are awful. Like, they're literally the worst team in the league. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, that is a game you rest play. It's just one. It's just them game. This is a game where they just have to get through. You know, we spoke about the
Yeah.
Sunderland game at the time of being like, you just have to get through this game. Have to get through this game. This is another game like they just have to get through. And we have enough options like in other positions where it's like it is just the defense. Like they just need to. Well, it's the midfield as well that need to get through it. But we can bring players on depending on how the game goes. But yeah, Club Brugge, there will be big rotations, I would imagine. Wolves, you probably see a couple of players come back, but I mean, we can have way more fun in the Wolves game. I think there can be so much more rotations, and you know,
Yeah,
Marley
I hope
Salmon
so.
minutes. Let's go.
Mate, he's quality as well.
I'm
Like, I'd
sure he'll
love
be
it
on
for
the
him.
bench. I think if Saliba's not fit for tomorrow, he has to be on the bench. I don't know why the centre backs we've got at the club. Maldini's out on loan, so we've got like no one. We can't. I mean, I guess. I mean, did you see the tweet today by wait, let me get. There was a tweet by AFC AMDEN or whatever, and he has said some stuff in the past, and he said that Mikel Merino has been identified as an auxiliary centre back in case of emergencies. And do you know what is absolutely hilarious about that?
I said that. Do you remember I said that ages ago? I was like, I genuinely think he'd be better as a forward and a centre back for us than a midfield. I think it was
so
when
funny. It's in the
Oh, who did we play? And was it the Liverpool game? It must have been the Liverpool game when he played, and I was like, I'm done with this. But like aerially, he's so good. And they say like he's one of the kind of more intelligent players, if not the most intelligent player, I think Arteta said. about him. But also, I saw Hand of Erzl put out something. It was in the Latte Firm. He said that maybe it was on, might have been on the Cannon podcast last night, actually. But he said that straight after the last game, on the bus, he rewatched the entire game to kind of make notes. Like, I just think Marino he's just bright enough and like to be able to play. You know, like five-a-side, there's certain players that you go, what, you know, you're a striker, what are you doing? And he just goes in defense and just reads the game brilliantly. Like, I can imagine him being like that kind of player. Like, he's had like a good footballing education as well, that guy.
There's a lot I want to say on Marino, but I'm gonna wait until we get to the striker position. But I just want to say that I literally in my stream earlier today, me and some of the viewers, we were literally having a bit where we were talking about Marino playing centre back. Like, we had this whole thing where someone in the comments said like Marino could do a job there, and I was like, yeah, actually, I think he could. And we were all talking about it, and everyone in the chat was like, oh no, we're not moving Marino to centre back now. And I was like, well, you know, we might have to. And it's so fun because the reason why I bring that up is because the guy that tweeted this was the guy that he's the exact same guy that tweeted that Marino is being used as emergency striker when before that happened. I remember it.
Yeah.
And I also predicted that to happen as well. So maybe I do think Marino's not mobile enough to play centre back for us, but I still think he's
true.
right. Yeah. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention because I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I can't imagine him covering the channels very well, but there we go. So right back, Ben White, or does Ben White coming at centre back? Like, does Saliba come back in? I know Saliba right now, I've put him as an orange because he might be back for this game. I'm going to move Gabriel out a minute because we know he's missing. And I'm going to bring Hincapié in because I think, would you agree Hincapié left centre back for this game?
Yeah.
It's more or less a shoe in, isn't it? So what are we doing? Are we putting Timber in at centre back? Are we playing Ben White there? Are we saying Saliba comes back in? Come on, give me an option here.
I think Saliba will be fit, but I've done this many times and I've been wrong many times. So who knows? I'm trying to play this Arteta will game that he's got going on. I hope Saliba's fit because I think we really need him to be. He's had a week's rest now. I would imagine Saliba plays and Timber plays, but let's say Saliba's not fit. I think I'd prefer to play Timber centre back and White right back, to be honest. I know a lot of people will say. I see a lot of people have said, it doesn't really matter what way you play him around. You're just going to play a different way both times. But I've seen a lot of people say about this, and I was like thinking about this, and I was like, I don't know. I kind of liked the dynamics against Brentford. I feel like Brentford are like a similar team in terms of physicality and how they're going to go about things in certain ways to Villa. Maybe Villa at home, they'll be a bit more confident. But I think I kind of liked it. I thought Timber's a bit of a calm head back there. And in the air, like there was sometimes that he's not going to win the duels, but he is just so physical and so quick at getting recovery. It didn't really matter. And White was just fantastic against Brentford. Like, he always cooks Brentford though, so I hope it's not just a Brentford White thing because, like, I've done 4 videos about White, 5 or 6 videos about him ever, and I think 3 of them are about against Brentford. He just cooks him every time. So let's just hope that like he continues that. But White was excellent in that game, and I also think White. We talk about the attack and dynamics. I know Timber has improved a lot. I just think he inherently has that with Eze. With Saka. He was getting that with Madueke on the week. And I just think like White played really well. And we've been talking about, we've literally spoke about for ages how Ben White just needs more than 190 because he needs significant time to like get his fitness up and play more. And now he's had one really good game. I personally don't want to see him out of the team. Like, I know if Saliba's fit, then he probably will be, but I still kind of want White to play, you know. Like, I don't really mind Ben White playing in this game at right back instead of Timber if Saliba's fit. Timber needs the rest anyway. Like, I know Ben White will probably play Club Brugge if not, but I don't know. I don't mind Ben White playing.
Is it too much to ask another 90 of him? Like, I do wonder if we started with this, like a Timber and a White, if then later on, if Saliba is fit, then you bring White out. Timber's had less kind of physical like exertion. He comes out onto the right and then Saliba comes back in. I wonder if that's in part of the plan as well. You manage the minutes for both of them. Because we've got, like, regardless of who starts, we've got to manage minutes. Like, we're in a spot of bother. I'll put it that way. But like, they're the options, aren't they? Like, really bad, isn't it? We've got such great, like, a brilliant squad, but we're just constantly having clusters of these injuries. So frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, every team is playing loads. So a lot of this Villa team have played a lot of this season. They play in Europa
Yeah.
League. They've got games and games and games. Pretty sure Watkins has played every game. He's been awful in like all of them, other than Brentford against Brighton the other week. So it's like, it's one of them things. Like, their defense is like the same defense that plays all the time.
Yeah.
And they're not like, I'm sure they're like, well, it is whatever at this point.
Yeah. Calafiori at left back. Like, I mean, I am not a fan of Miles' his last couple of appearances, but last one in particular was not great. I think he is so integral to everything that we do at the moment. I think he has to play almost. Until I will add a caveat, until we get a bit more options in that defensive area, so then Hincapié can come out there and give him a bit more rest. But right now, and it's really sad to say, I just don't trust Miles that much to give us performance we need against Villa. But I think after this game, I think the next 2 games Miles does play. So, and I would be much more confident with that. I'd be much more happier with that. But for me, I think, yeah, Carlo Calafiori has to play in this one.
Miles just can't play with Zubimendi and Rice, and like, it's such an obvious dynamic reason.
Yeah.
Every time I've said that Miles has played bad, it's because he's been played as a left back instead of a inverted left back, and that's the big problem. Like, he is a midfielder in left back, not a left back. Like, I think every time Arteta tries to play him with a Zubimendi and Rice, it never works. And in theory, it wouldn't work either. I understand the season, I said if they're going to do that, it won't work, and it just doesn't. Like, he can't come in the middle if you've got too many people in there. So, yeah, like you said, he'll play against Club Brugge and maybe even Wolves, because we'll probably end up resting Rice and Zubimendi, or one of them each, for that game. So it just even makes sense for the dynamics for that to work. But yeah, he can't play if they're both playing. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. I think, I genuinely think Zubi and Rice have to play. Like, I just don't see Arteta using Norgard or Naugar or whatever he wants to call himself now. I just can't see him being used. I mean, someone put in the chat earlier. Let me see if I can find it earlier. It's from a little while ago. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this. Here we go. Baker's put, I mean, this is a long time ago. I think Arteta still thinks Havertz can work in midfield. And funny enough, I remember him playing against Villa in that midfield role, but don't think it'll happen in this game that we changed the midfield drastically. And I think Eze comes out and Odegaard carries on in that role. I think that's what we see. But is that what you do, or do you switch it up a bit and bear in mind that...
I don't think he's going to do that. Like, Odegaard has been injured for months. He played a full 90 against Brentford. I think that Odegaard played that game because we were resting Eze. Eze's played so much this season, and we rested Eze and Saka. And I don't know why you would rest Eze and Saka for Brentford if they're not going to start against Villa. Like, in my opinion, Eze and Saka are shoehorns to be in this team. I don't know if that means Eze's going to play in left wing or midfield. I think 100% Eze starting this game. Like, I think you wouldn't have rested him in the midweek. You would have just played him.
I feel that he's got more chance of playing out on the left. I'll get rid of Trossard, seeing as he's just not going to play. I think, Arteta, as much as he has got a lot better and made massive improvements of squad use, I do think he at heart is a person that wants his tried and trusted players in. And I think he looks at Odegaard as, vital component to everything we do, whether it's like how we press, how we move the ball. I have a feeling he's going to pretty much go with that team now, actually. But Is
I
it the team
think
I play? I don't
it,
know,
it
but
it just so depends on fitness because I just don't know. Like, if Odegaard has just come back from injury, if he can play another 90 or another 60 or another 50, not normal footballers can. I know Arteta's been speaking in his press conference today about Odegaard and how he's like a freak and he can just do this stuff. But yeah, like I
will
don't
he
know.
be looking and going, well, if he can get through this 90, then he can have like another big rest?
Well, maybe, but then I don't know who's going to play. Like, who's playing against Club Brugge? We played a Miles, Norgard, and Nwaneri midfield. Like, someone's got to play. Like, uh, I think Eze
Mm.
is going to be in this team because he has played a lot, but he got rested in the week for a reason. Him and Saka got rested for a week. I think there's a high probability that there's a few things that could happen here. It really just depends on the fitness. Like, Rice is probably fine to play this game, but there might be a certain worry that Arteta has now going, can we afford him not to play the first half? Can we bring him on in the second half? Can we play an Eze, Odegaard and Zubimendi midfield
Oh,
against
I
them?
was going to say the
And like,
same.
and the only reason why I say that is because when we've played against teams like Villa, such as a Newcastle, such as a Fulham, such as these sort of teams, maybe not Fulham to an extent, but the best way that we got at these teams was just going all out attack. We were dominant against Newcastle in that last 15, 20 minutes of that game where we needed goals because we had Eze on the pitch, we had Odegaard on the pitch, we had Miles on the pitch, we had Trossard, we had every single forward you can think of just on the pitch in these areas.
Yep.
And I think the reason that I think if Rice isn't fit, I personally think Arteta will think this is the best way to go about it and then bring Rice on at half time sort of thing. I think obviously if Rice is fully good to go, he's going to play Rice, but I don't know, there might be a certain worry about that. I don't know then who he's going to play on the left. Like, I think it most likely would be Martinelli because if Ben
Mm-hmm.
White plays, for instance, we saw how it worked against Brentford. Ben White come around on the overlap. Martinelli played literally as an attacking midfielder. But then I was like, do you want to play Martinelli as an attacking midfielder when you've got Eze? Maybe they can rotate with each other in game. That could be quite fun. Could be maybe something else we look at doing. Or you just play Madueke. But I think Madueke won't. I don't think you need to play Madueke on the left. And also, the rumours are that Trossard's going to be on the bench. He might be back for this game. So if that's the case, then you start Martinelli, you start Saka. If stuff isn't going well, you swap them. Trossard, Madueke, you on. And I don't know the fitness of someone like Havertz. I do think there is a certain idolation of Arsenal wanting to play Havertz in midfield at some point if we have to. Um, I, I don't think Havertz is going to be in the squad. I couldn't imagine. Or I just don't.
No, I don't think so.
I think that's more maybe next week. I don't know. I don't know how far away he is, but there is options
I
here. Like,
wonder if Gyökeres comes back.
well, that's the big thing. The striker, in my opinion, the striker is the big talking point here because
Mm.
Gyökeres was bought to play against these sort of teams. It is true. He was bought to play against like sort of physical mid-block teams. And I know he went brilliant against Newcastle, but he was relatively okay. He was okay in that game. That's one of his better games for the club. And
Yep.
he came off that really good 45 minutes against Burnley, but obviously Burnley suck. But like I think the problem is there's so many different advocates of it because if Odegaard plays, I think Gyökeres being up front is fine. Like, I think it's fine. If Odegaard isn't going to play, which I do think he will, I just think Eze will play somewhere. I think Eze will have to play because he got rested.
I think he will,
Maybe it's on
but
the left.
I think he'll be on the left. I just have a feeling that
He might do that.
I just there's something about Arteta that just makes me feel that, like certain managers have certain players. I think Odegaard is one of those. And to a certain extent, I think Havertz is. Like, there's something in me that feels that if he's fully fit, Arteta will work out a way of getting him in. Like, and it'll be a case of like,
it's
I'm
because they're
playing him
all
in
phased
midfield, I'm playing up
players.
front.
It's because they're all phased players. Like, he just likes multifaceted players. He doesn't like players that are quite restrictive in their way. That's the only reason. That's the reason why signing Eze and Gyökeres was so weird this season because they are widely players that are like good at one thing. Or like a couple of things, and that's it. That's their specialty.
That's what we've needed. We needed a couple of like specialists.
Yeah,
And
but
I mean, it's interesting because Mendy's not like a specialist sick per se, but he's a specialist in what he does. So,
yeah, I mean,
I don't
I
know.
get why he likes all phase players because fundamentally, we are better with Odegaard in the team. Even if Odegaard doesn't play the best, I just think the team does look more comfortable with him in, especially in these
Yeah.
home games that we played before. Like, I know, like, some people were talking about his Brentford performance. I've always Brentford performance was like decent. I didn't think it was that great. Like, I kind of, but I kind of compared it to the players around him. After the game, I was like, so who's had the most impact in this midfield? And I was like, low key, the guy who's had the most impact in the game is the guy that's not in midfield and he's up front. And I was like, maybe that's not on Odegaard though. Maybe that's just because Mourinho had a fantastic game, which he did. So, like, maybe that's like where you look at it a bit. I think Odegaard, I think he's really good in these sort of games, especially. I think this is a game that's fine for him. I just do. I just find it like I just think like Odegaard and Marino, our press would be mental. Like that our press against Brentford was very good, and I can see it being
Mm-hmm.
the same. I think you can kind of afford to put Gyökeres in if an Odegaard plays because of the pressing factors are not that bad because Odegaard's next to him helping him. And I also think Gyökeres was built to playing in games like this. Gyökeres is fully fit. He's been back a week now. He's come off the bench in both of our games, so he's fully there. And but the issue, and Marino has played a huge amount of minutes. And it's not like he's played a huge amount of minutes and walked around. He has ran more than anyone in our team over the last 3 games, especially. And he's probably been our best player. Like we talked the last time about like how Marino's a guy that isn't always playing the best, but he turns up with goal contributions. I saw someone say that, like they were like, "Oh, Marino's is Arsenal's Salah" when he scored and got an assist against Brentford, and I was like, "Nah." Against Brentford, he was so good. He was
Yeah.
unbelievable in that game. There was a few passes that he made that were awful, and he gave the ball away. Of course, there's a Marino special, but 99% of the things that he did in that game, in terms of off the ball pressure, on the ball, like linking things up, dropping into midfield, getting into the right positions. Every chance we created, he was a big part of, I felt like. And he took his goal brilliantly, which is also why he's on the pitch. And I genuinely, after that game, I literally came away from it and went, wow, if he's going to play like that, he actually might be our best striker. I genuinely thought that after that game, he actually might be our best striker.
Better than...
Well, I mean, I still think Havertz is like goated, and it's fun. And it's funny what Troy Deeney said on his team of the week. He said that, oh, I think Marino and Havertz will play more than Gyökeres because they're better players than Gyökeres. And he said not to have a dig at Gyökeres, but they're just different type of players. And I was like, how does that make any sense with the thing you just said? But okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah, but they're just completely different. Gyökeres is just an old-fashioned number 9. Gyökeres is a striker you would get 20 years ago, and people would be like, he's so great, because he doesn't have to do all this other fancy stuff. But nowadays, strikers that do usually, at least in the top leagues, have to actually be a little bit more, help the team rather than being the main guy. I think if it depends on fitness. Like, I think Marino.
Yeah, I do want to make Gyökeres red a minute because he will be involved.
I think Marino should start because I think he's playing amazing, and I'm not a guy that drops players that are playing amazing. This is the best Marino I've seen in years. Like, even before when he played up front. In the last games, the Sunderland game, the Chelsea game, the Bayern game, the Tottenham game, and then the Brentford game is the best 5-game span I've ever seen him play. Like, genuinely, he has been phenomenal. And then the game before that, Slavia Prague, I thought he was awful and he got a brace. So it's just typical Marino, isn't it? I want Marino to play personally. Like, I want him to have a game. But Gyökeres makes more sense. It really does. And that's the great thing. We have options now. And we didn't even mention it, but Gabriel Jesus has been sitting on the bench for the last week. I mean, he's there. Like, the thing is, oh my God, people aren't ready. But if Arsenal need a goal with 10 minutes of the game left, oh my God, we are going to throw everyone at them. Madueke, Winery, Jesus, you've got Eze. Oh my God, the Gyökeres. Oh my God, these teams are not going to survive. We're going to throw everything
Finally.
at them. It's gonna
be mate, it's been too long. Do you know what? I do want to talk about, like, because I think I agree with you. I think Marino has to play this one, and then his other players are coming back. I'm not as worried about him breaking down, and history kind of tells us that he's not a player that really does. Like, his only real injury is when he first came to the club and got battered by Gabriel. Like, so ironically, he doesn't got to worry about Gabriel at the moment either. So I think you just keep him in. I genuinely am starting to look as well and go, as much as I have bantered about, is he better than Havertz? Like, is he better at doing what Havertz is good at and all of that? Like, there's a case to be made now where you go, well, he might be the most clinical finisher we've got. He's probably the best header of the ball, like aerially, apart from Gabriel. But just, horses for courses, they're, both very, very good at what they do. He's just always available. There is like a case to be made going, oh, maybe we had our striker all along and we didn't need to worry about anyone else, but there you go.
Striker was never really the problem last season, though. It was always well blown out of proportion. It was always more of a creative attacking issue, like I kind of felt. I'm just happy for Mourinho, man. Like, before the start of the season, we were talking about is he even going to play? He was like 5th choice midfielder. He played in midfield a few times, was pretty mid. But like, I think it's a testament to his mentality and the way that he is. Like, there's a reason why this guy's in the leadership group. There's a reason why every single person you speak to talks about him at the club at such a high regard. He is he is the one of the smartest players on the pitch by none. Like that the thing is, that's why Arteta loves Odegaard and loves Havertz, because Havertz and Odegaard are our 2 smartest players by a mile, and they're the players that really get like when to do certain things in terms of game state. Unfortunately, sometimes if Havertz is like body may let him down in terms of technical abilities, he isn't that great sometimes, but he knows what's going on and he's so perceptive, which is really helpful. And Mourinho coming in at the start was perceptive, but now he's like fully learnt the striker role. Like against Brentford, like he had 2 chances where like the goalkeeper parries it and he's there, and okay, he doesn't score, like maybe it's too stretched out, he like kind of dived on the first one, but I was looking at that and I was like, that is striker movements that he's getting to now. I was like, that he is a striker, he is a false 9, he comes back into midfield and creates, he's getting into the box and scoring better headers. And like you mentioned, but I think he is the second best player in the air, barring Gabriel in that club. And that just helps us. We are a very high, we're not as high crossing team as we were last year, but we still cross it a bit. If Ben White's going to play, we will a lot. And it's just a big part of it. Like, Havertz coming back, I think will do a lot of this stuff like to the same level or better than him. But obviously Havertz has just been so injured for this entire year because he got ran into the floor. And now like it's great that Mourinho stepped up. And Gyökeres, low key, like could just, you're getting minutes against Club Brugge and Wolves, mate, and then hopefully he like does well against them, and then we don't have to worry. And then you've got Jesus there who can play. Jesus could play against Club Brugge or Wolves. Like Havertz will probably be
different
back.
option again. Like it's mad. Like the different profiles we've got. If they're all fit, which is never going to happen, let's be honest. But if they all did get fit, the options you've got there of it is mad. It's crazy. Like, and we put out a long time ago that unless he came back early, which Jesus has, and we are still in the cups, he might not make another appearance for the club. No, I'm really willing him to. Like, I really want him to play and play pretty well. I hate the notion of him being a bad signing, because it's very similar to like the Ramsdale one I spoke about earlier. I just feel like he's a signing we needed. And do you remember like everyone bought him on fantasy football? Everyone bought him because everyone's saying, oh, he could actually bang for Arsenal. He could do amazing. He's just been really unfortunate with his injuries. It's horrendous. Can I go for a little? As you were saying about that, there's certain players that work better with other players, like the complementary pairs, for example. So the example would be, I don't know, let's go with a Reece and Zubimendi. Like I think they complement each other so well. And obviously, usually you go with, and we've got the tactics board up here, usually go with the centre backs. They complement each other really well. You'd go the fullback and the winger, etc., etc. Like, I want to just see if we can, let's get rid of all these. No one wants to see the Villa players, especially McGinn. Oh, God.
He's one of my favorites. I hate him so much. I like Torres, though. That's my boy. Villarreal. I remember.
Mate, he had a stinker, though, his last game, didn't he? Let's be honest.
He can't defend, but he's an incredible passer, and that's why I like him.
Yeah. We were linked to him as well when we had Emery, ironically. But
yeah, Emery loves him. He's loved him for years, bless him.
Let's try and pair up players. All right. So they've got to be in pairs. I'm going to put David Raya. Who are we pairing him up? Are we pairing up with Kepa?
Yeah, I guess.
The two
Yeah. I can't like
goalkeeper union. They could be together.
Yeah, like Ryan's kind of like on his own, really. He's not really like that, and he's the keeper, so I guess it makes sense.
I mean, he can play with anyone, can't he? Let's be honest. Like his passing, everything. He's fine. He's fine. Do we put the two big centre backs together, Saliba and Gabriel? I think you have to, haven't you?
Yeah, that's like bromance 101.
Yeah, first. All right, they're together. Two sick notes. Who are we going with next?
The
Rice
problem
and
is, there's a lot of like triangles of people, I think.
No, it's got to be pairs. That's the whole point.
The big
because I want to make it this.
The big triangle I'm thinking about is Gyökeres, Calafiori, and Trossard. Them three are like best friends. Them three together is like an incredible trio on the pitch. They're like really good mates off it. Like they get along really well.
Right, let's put it in pairs, and then after we'll try and put it. We'll try and start splitting them up into little triangles. Then.
I fear Gyökeres is not going to get a pair then.
No, I've got some people with him. Don't worry, it's all right. Okay, right, let's go. Who are we going with?
Calafiori and Trossard is like
I agree with that.
This season.
Where's Trossard gone? Is that there?
Yeah, Bryson Zubimendi, I guess, is one.
Yeah, we're going with the obvious ones at the moment. Guys, put in the chat any that you don't agree with or any kind of ideas, because this is going to get difficult in a minute. So put in the chat. I want to go with Martinelli and Miles. Happy with that?
I
know it's not perfect.
In terms of them on the pitch, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking of like vibes as well as also like on the pitch stuff. Like,
you're thinking like Bezzy mates.
Well, I'm thinking of like but I think that matters a lot. I feel like the people are closer to people. They're like, I feel like Lewis Skelly seems closer to Hincapié and would probably play.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like Ethan or someone then.
Well, Ethan actually makes a lot more sense. Yeah, as a duo, I guess it makes them sense.
But then on the pitch, does it make sense?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But on the pitch, I think both. I'm doing it like on the pitch and off the pitch, sort of like connections. Like these guys are like synergy, because that's why Odegaard and Havertz is one. They're like, I think on the pitch they're really good together, and I think they're very similar, and also they're like best friends. And so I can think they're a bit. The thing is, some of these people are like best friends for everyone. Like Merino and Timber are liked by everyone. They're like the most likable dudes in the team.
Yeah.
Like 100% like. I love him. Merino's my favorite player right now. That guy's a go. Merino. I said this to my friend the other day. I said dead ass. We spoke about Rice. We said Rice could be the Ballon d'Or candidate because of his like big performances. I genuinely think Merino has a chance to win the Ballon d'Or. And
oh my God! I've been listening to Alex talking about this.
Spoke about this as well, and it's funny because I said this on after he scored against Brentford. I literally DM'd my mate on Twitter, and I was like, I dead ass think he can win the Ballon d'Or. Because he's like Spain's main man right now. He's their main man. They're the favourites for the World Cup, you know, and like. I know that he won't be our main man.
That is such a Jorginho shout, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
That's what I said. I said that it's the Jorginho shout. I did say that to him as well. But it's also like he is actually playing well. Like he is actually our one of our most influential players at the moment. And like,
no, I mean there is potential, but I just think he's not like a media darling. He's not playing in Spain for Spain. If you know what I mean, I think that would make a bit of a difference. Well, he'd have to be like it. If he was a top goal scorer in the like the international break, maybe in the World Cup.
But if we win the Prem, the Champions League, and he wins the World Cup, then I think he's going to be in the top three. Well, anyway.
All three, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so that's that. But even if we won the Champions League and he was a big part of that winning team, and he won the World Cup.
Surely Zubimendi then.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Marino's the aura guy. Marino's the main man. This is what I mean.
That'd be like one of the worst Ballon d'Ors ever.
But that's what I mean. The Ballon d'Or's never based on like actual quality. Like Marino, he has so many flaws. He is really not like that level at all as a footballer. But
yeah,
he's just like someone said to me, like, I don't think he has the aura. And I was like, I do. I think he has gained the aura over the last year. I think he didn't before 2025. But not only is
Mm,
this whole like striker thing, like, you know, his 7 million celebrations, but all of like every time I speak to people about Marino, they always talk to me about how cold he seems. Like he just does nowadays. I don't know. I think Marino's
yeah.
on some like really positive PR, I think. And I think we can carry this all the way to a Ballon d'Or if we're good
Oh
enough.
my
So
God.
you know
If
what?
there's any fan base that could, it's an
Mourinho has
Arsenal
to
fan base.
start every single game up front for the rest of the season. That's it now. We've got to do this. Sorry, everyone else. I don't care, Havertz. This is my new goal. Marino Ballon d'Or 2020. Even if
How
Marino
have
came,
we got on this?
if Marino came top 10 in a Ballon d'Or, that would be mental. I'd be so happy. I'd be so
Do you know
happy.
what? That I would not be surprised by.
He definitely can
Like, he
make top 10.
genuinely wouldn't.
Definitely can make. If Spain win the World Cup and he scores like 4 goals at that tournament,
Mm.
and Arsenal win one of the domestic title or the Champions League, he's getting top 10. Like it's automatically. Like it's just
I
will
think
happen.
all it takes as well, if he got a big goal, like say if he got a big goal in the World Cup final, or like he got the winning goal in the Champions League final, or maybe a goal in one of the final matches of the Premier League. You know, like one of those moments that everyone remembers.
I feel
think
like
that
out of
does help
anyone
him.
in our team right now, he's probably the most likely to score a very important goal
That's
for us.
insane, though, isn't it?
I think he's
Right, let's
just.
move off this.
Oh,
Stop
I
this.
love Mourinho.
This
You are a
is
legend.
what's happened is I've talked so much about Marino being better than Havertz week after week after week that you're finally. It's almost like Stockholm syndrome. You're
But he
like,
played.
you know what? I love Marino now.
He played well. Like he's played so well the
He
last
is
game.
playing
Like,
well.
I'm a big guy. That's
But I don't know if he's playing Ballon d'Or level.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking we're the best. If we do win the double, like someone's got to be in the nominations. Like we're not really a team that
Yeah.
has a standout player. You know, if
I
Bukayo
would
Saka,
love an Arsenal player to win it, though.
if Bukayo
You
Saka
know,
plays
as
like
much
he
as
did
I don't
against
think
Brentford,
Marino is the best player on the planet, I'd take it all day.
I mean, Jorginho
finally.
came third. Like,
Mm.
you know, and he was just in the team. Like he wasn't even a big part of the team. He was just there, especially for the Italy. He was just there. Like Marino's actually helping. Like he's actually contributing very heavily.
Let's just quickly go through some of the chat a minute. Jesus, resurrection in time for Xmas. I'm here for it.
He did this.
I mean,
last
obviously,
year.
I meant Jesus, by the way.
How many times can we do this?
And we could do it every year. Just bring him back out. Right, back on the game though. White or timber with Saka? Like for me, I'm actually going to go with white here. Like I just think that
OG.
combination I love. But
White and Madueke might be the new one. Might have to.
Yeah.
You see their hug after the goal. Yeah, sorry, Saka. You're a timber now.
You're out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. That's what. Yeah, we're going with that.
If
Let's go with
Saka,
that.
I feel like Timber still could be with anyone, man. That guy's like so like I just feel like connection wise on the pitch and off it, like he is like that. I really do think. No, I'm not gonna say. I think Saka was awful against Brentford, but let's hope he plays better against Villa.
I'm going to pull Hincapié out of this threesome here. You heard it first on this channel. And I'm going to put him with Mosquera.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to go with that little duo. I feel like they're the underdogs. You know,
we watched them play
duo.
2 games together, a game and a half, and then that's it. Now we won't see Mosquera for 6 weeks. So, well,
yeah,
that was great. I mean,
never mind.
I mean, we've got put Havertz and Odegaard together. That's
oh
just,
yeah.
That's just a guarantee. That's like
that's
another OG.
There's definitely
one.
something going on there. I'm not going to go any further.
I like my favorite. They're the boys, man. I'd be critical of them, but I think they're great. And then this is just kind of like the new guys, the youngsters, and Marino, who everyone loves. So
I'm going to go with Gyökeres and Eze. I feel like they complement each other on the pitch quite well. If anyone's going to find a Gyökeres run, it might be this guy.
It might be Marino. Low key, might be Marino.
Mate, the ball he made
might be Marino.
It wasn't the assist. I don't want to call it an assist because it's not really. But for Saka, like it's so interesting because I thought he was going to play outside, and the fullback definitely thinks he's going outside, and then Saka suddenly cuts inside. It's perfect ball
You're
for him.
not calling it an
Such a good ball.
assist. What do you mean? It was an assist.
Well, just because, like,
What do you mean?
it's not a Foden pass where it's put on a plate for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Bro, I've been watching
he-
people pass the ball off to someone for 50 yards and they get an
I
assist.
know. You know, I mean, I just think for me, an assist is like the Ben White one, where it's like, well, that's definitely like, you're not scoring without that pass.
Yeah, but that's so unlikely to happen for like most goals. Like most
I know
goals
that,
are a mess. Like
I'm old school. All right.
I was a
anyway,
good assist. I'm so confused. There was
do
definitely
you think you should have passed it? So I rewatched it at the time. I did.
Yeah.
And then I realized like Gyökeres is running full pelt, has to check his run, so he has to kind of like come back because the way Saka comes, he cuts back on himself as well. Once he cuts back, I don't know if there's enough time to pass to Gyökeres anyway. And I don't think so. I don't know on second thoughts if it's actually the right thing. Like shot wasn't great. But...
Yeah, like I think he should pass it. Obviously it's not that deep now that he scored. But the thing that frustrated me is there was like 3 other opportunities where Saka was like had space and he could have passed it to Gyökeres and didn't. And that's why at that point I was like, you're taking the piss. You at that point you should just pass it to Gyökeres because you've not scored.
There's a bit of Salah syndrome there.
Yeah, like it's like you remember Suarez? He used to have this thing where he'd shoot from everywhere, and then as soon as he'd score, he'll start passing the ball off to his teammates. And here you go, his assists and stuff. It's like you would do that if you didn't score a goal. I'm like with Saka, he has the same sort of thing sometimes, where when he scores a goal, you'll notice it. He'll like be way more willing to help. Like in games where it's more open, I will say, like he is a good creator. Like genuinely, we need him to be. But games where they're like this open when he comes on. He has scored some goals this season where I'm like, he just should pass it, and he doesn't. I thought Saka was really bad when he came on. He was just messing up chances. I think he was just shooting way too much, and I think he was pretty lucky to get a goal. So I hope he plays better because I was actually very frustrated when Saka came on. There was
He's
so
been
many
real
things
hit and miss this season.
It's so hit and miss.
Like, he's had some real good performances, and then some others that have just been completely forgettable. But,
when he scores,
I mean, he's got enough money in the bank to do what he wants.
When he scores, he plays awful, and then when he's like not doing any goal contributions, he's like the best player on the pitch. It's so funny. Like it's like, and then people will go on about his goals and stuff, and he's actually got quite a bit recently, so it's going up there. But I'm like, all the games he scores in, he's awful in. A bar in the Sunderland game, he's quite good in that one. But yeah, it's just the complete opposite way. I just want to see. I get the consistency problems there, but now we've got Madueke. If you're not playing well at 45 minutes, get off. Like Madueke is still struggling with fitness. You can tell he was so good in that first half, and then completely was dead on his feet second.
I loved his cameo at Bayern Munich as well.
Yeah. I mean, in that game, he played like 60, 70 minutes as well. So he is coming back to fitness, but I really don't mind playing Saka for a half, Madueke for a half, changing it up. I really don't mind doing that at all.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Someone is going to miss out here. Someone's going to be on their own. So I'm going to throw out here 2 pairs. I don't know if you're going to like it. I'm going to go with Max and Ethan because I feel Max and Ethan kind of in this, or they can interchange here and here. So that's what I'm going with here. Similar ages as well. And then I'm going to go with Marino.
It doesn't even make sense for either of them. We should just put Marino.
I'm going with Norgard just because they're the old guys. I can imagine those two just sat down. Yeah, everyone else, having a laugh, and those two just sat there going, these young whippersnappers, eh? And Jesus just misses the party. He's not there because unfortunately,
for 2 years. That's what happens. Everyone, it's like when you go to uni and everyone else stays at home, and then you come back after 3 years. It's literally what happened with me. I was like the only one that went to uni in my group, and I come back, everything's changed. Everyone's got new friends. What's going on? I've been here for 3 years. It's like he's coming back. I do. Marino should just be like the one that I think
Jesus is just there with Arteta.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, boss.
Well, Jesus did have Zinchenko, didn't he? But he's at Forest, so that's his duo guard.
Yeah, that's true. There we go. There you have it. There's the pairings for the Arsenal squad. I mean, I quite like them. I think they're all right.
Marino definitely could be with he's definitely got the short end of the stick here, but he could be with anyone. Marino's just loved by everyone, so he gets the worst one.
And the fact that he can play in pretty much every position. Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with
basically,
that.
he's probably got like more of a connection to than most people in the team, as well as like Odegaard, 'cause he's captain, than like a lot of players. Because imagine like we do have to play, like we have to sit in a low block. We get an injury and we're like, oh, Marino, you're playing centre back. He's sitting there with the boys in defence. I would imagine it. I mean, if
Yeah.
Marino plays centre back at any point, I'm gonna laugh so much.
If we ever had to go to 5 at a back, a Champions League final, something happens, just like a couple of minutes left. Marino just goes back into a back 5. I think he'd be fine. Balls being lumped into the box, he's fine with that. Not a problem.
We spent 30 mil on this guy, and I didn't realise, like, I thought it was just going to be a throwaway signing, but the impact he's actually had is genuine. Like, he is genuinely,
crazy.
like, it all, like, as well as him helping us up front, but he has actually become, like, such an important, integral part of the squad. Spent 30 mil on a 29-year-old, and he's that important. I mean,
I think Trossard has as well, to be fair. I look at Trossard, that signing, and think, God, what a signing, really, for the money that it was. Brilliant signing.
That's why they're still here, because they're still very, very efficient and help us a lot. I love Trossard. Yeah. I love Marino. They're my favourite guys.
Before we finish up, oh, go on, sorry.
I just say I like the ones that people don't care about as much. I just always like that. You know, the unspoken heroes are my favourite footballers. The ones like I loved Endo when he was at Liverpool. Well, when he was playing, he didn't play anymore. But he was like my favourite because it's like he just comes in, does a job, goes off, 10 mil signing, 30 years old. You know, I remember when I used to say he's 30, and I was like, I think he's 21. Bro's an unk. It's not young.
Do you think though, Marino's signing would have anywhere near the kind of well, do you think it would be like lambasted? Let's put it that way. Do you think it would be something that everyone's kind of saying, "Oh, that's a terrible signing," if he hadn't had that first stint up front?
Yeah, 100%. Literally in my documentary today, I literally said that like
your documentary.
Well, I did like a mini doc today about Marino on my channel, which is funny. That's why we spoke.
I mean, I know you did, but I just wanted a little plug for you.
That's why I'm so gassed to talk about Marino, because I've literally been doing like research about him for 2 days now, and like getting all the clips and stuff. And I do think, yeah, I think it was crap. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he wasn't great in midfield. Like, there's a handful of games where he's been decent in midfield, but I think in terms of like when I watched the games back, I was like, even in like stuff where he's like really good off the ball, in the second line of press, he struggles way more than he does in the first line of press, which is funny because you would think it would be easier following a player than dictating, but he just prefers to dictate. And I think it's so obvious when I watch him that that's the case. But yeah, it would have been, even for 30 mil, which is a bit of a throwaway signing. Yeah, I think it would have been a failure, because even if he is a great guy backdoors and all this stuff, no one would have cared because if he's not good enough to play. But this striker thing has saved it, I do think. And now it's become an influential part of the team. And you know, he's become arguably from an awful signing to one of the better signings they've made. So, I mean, fair play. He deserves the most credit. Marino deserves the most credit out of anyone, not Arteta. Marino does. He's the one that's playing that well. Like, I will give it to him. I think he's been excellent.
Yeah, his ability to pick up a completely different position, the way he has, the money he has, and in a system which is really difficult. That it is so difficult to learn, like the press and how we move the ball. Like, it's unbelievable the job he's done. It really is, though. Yeah, full credit to him. Before we finish up, prediction for tomorrow, bub.
I've seen people keep saying that, like, oh, that, you know, like these people on Twitter, and they're like, Arsenal 4, Aston Villa 1. I was like, if we win, it's going to be a typical like 1-0 or 2-0. Like, every game we play is like 1-0 or 2-0. It'll be like
Newcastle.
Every game we do is the same. Have we had a game where we scored like over 3 goals, barring Tottenham, and that game we didn't even deserve to score?
Atletico and Leeds.
Yeah, and Leeds we scored what, like 2-3 set pieces. Atleti, we scored 2 set pieces. Currently, we don't have our set piece specialist, so we're probably just going to win. Take our 2-0 or 1-0 and read and wait. But like I said before, Villa are a weird team. They can even attack or even defend really well. They can't do both. So I know it could be a crazy game. Villa are the more likely candidates we could have to have a crazy game. Like for us, I think. And actually, before I do want to say before I end, the one thing that there's actually been a common thing in the Premier League this season is that when teams play teams that they know that they should lose to, they've just been making the game mental, and every single team in the Premier League has been basically abiding to this rule where they're going, oh, well, we can't win the game, or you can't get control. Let's just kick the ball anywhere. No one gets control. And it's working. Leeds are getting success. Sunderland are getting success. Villa have had success at doing it. I know Villa are like a better team. They're like a top 8 team. But it's just funny how it works. And like, I don't know. Like, I do find it funny because it's like we're going to play these games and the football's going to be mental. It's going to be so like hoofball. But it is what it is.
Arsenal have lost just one of our 21 Premier League away games, and that was at Liverpool in August, where I'm beating 30 on the road and scoring at least once. I mean, Ollie Watkins has got 6 goals in 10 Premier League games against us, only netting more against Brighton, and Saka has had a hand in 4 goals in the last 6 Premier League appearances against Aston Villa. 2 goals, 2 assists, with both of his goals coming at Villa Park. Like, it's gonna be same old story. I think it's gonna be a difficult game, and I hope they don't make it like anti-football with players like McGinn. Unfortunately, I think that's what's going to happen, mate.
No,
yeah,
it won't be any worse
Vodka.
than Brentford. I'm a Brentford hater. I do not like Brentford. They play football like horrible people. People say we play football like horrible. Watch Brentford. I dare you, because, oh my God, playing for throw-ins is a stupid way of playing football, and I do not care.
We'll leave it on that then, mate. If you haven't done so, guys, make sure that you do like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are here every Friday at about 8:30 or 8:45. But if you like and hit that notification button, you will get a notification when we do go live. Reece, where can people find you, mate?
FOKLZ football. Woo! Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Just so everyone knows, if you're new to tune in, that's what Reece does every single week when I ask him. He's the self-promotion master.
Hype man. That's what you gotta be.
Genuinely, though, go and check out his stuff, because, mate, the content you're getting out at the moment is sick. It's so good. It is so good. And if you want to see me, I am either on here or I am on the Canon podcast. I will be next appearing on the Wolves instant reaction, a nice 10 o'clock evening instant reaction on a weekend. Just what I want to do before I get up for a 8:30 kickoff, my son's game.
We play at 12:30 on a Saturday, and then the week later we play at 8 o'clock. That is horrible. Do you know some people some people can't sort their sleeping pattern out in like 4 days. Like, you know, I mean, it'd be nice if they just like had a normal time where I could, you know, abide to. But no, let's have it the complete upper week. So that's good. I'm going to be spending 2 weeks trying to fix my sleeping pattern. That's gonna be great.
Mate, you don't sleep.
I sleep just all the time. All the time.
Cheers, guys. Thank you, Reece. And we will catch you in, well, the next one, I guess. Next week.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. Come on. Cheers, all.
Zoom in these two.